Hey guys, J-Man here. Okay, so I had to start this live stream again. We had some technical issues, so I just restarted the entire the entire thing. But okay, we're back in the Danger Room. We're talking some comics and whatever else you want to talk about. Uh, so we're going to start off with with bringing in my buddy Steve. Hey Steve, how's it going?
Good, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so we're gonna keep it informal as usual. There's not a lot of DC stuff this week at all. I don't even think. Did you even read anything this week?
Yeah, I read Detective Comics.
Oh, we could talk about that then.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, so there's Detective and I read Flash, but
okay.
I think Sean read Flash.
Yeah.
So Sean's gonna pop on a little bit later. I don't know when we're gonna be phasing him in, but we'll get him in at some point
Right. Right.
to talk about Flash if he did read it. So let's get right into some DC talk right now. Boom. All right. So Detective Comics. What do you think of Detective?
It was really good. I really love modestly rich Bruce Wayne for some reason. I love the fact that now his Batcave is like in the middle of Gotham City. He can't hide from anyone.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, oh, someone's inviting him over for a party or something. And he's like, I don't think Bruce Wayne gets invited to parties. And then he shows up with like the big scotch and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
take
yeah.
it off him. He's like, that was an expensive bottle of scotch. It's like my best bottle.
That's like my best bottle. Yeah. And he's got, and they seem to imply that he has little mini bat caves
Yes, all over the city
all
now,
over the place. So
which is
that's kind of neat.
which is cool. One of the things I enjoyed about the Arkham Asylum game was the implication that Batman had a Batcave at Arkham Asylum. I thought that was ingenious, actually, to throw that in
Yeah, I thought
because
so too.
he would do that, right? He would have something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really enjoy that.
Hey, Truth, what's going on?
Hey,
DC favorite artist and writer? Oh my God.
that's a great question.
I'm gonna have to look to the. You know what the thing is? I'm like a nerd fan, so I just read the book and don't think about it. Whoever's been writing Detective Comics, is that Tomasi?
Yeah. But there's
Hold
a
on.
new guy. I forget his
Well,
name.
whoever wrote the majority of Rebirth,
Oh yeah.
I'm going to check right now because I have everything.
I mean,
Oh my God, I have so many comics just in the A's. Just to get to D takes forever. Like I'm scrolling and I'm not even at D yet. Like, okay, here we go. Now I'm at D.
I mean, to be honest with you, artist has to be Alex Ross, man. Like I don't know. It's hard for me to when you see his art, it's hard to like look at I guess normal comic book art. It's so tough. Um
For sure.
yeah, Scott
Oh,
yeah,
Scott Snyder is
yeah,
awesome.
Scott Snyder. I was thinking of Scott Snyder.
Yeah, he's really good. It's
Um
Tomasi who's doing Detective, or at least
Tomasi's really good. Um as far as artists, I really love Jim Lee. I just love his colors in that. I think he's like awesome. Uh yeah,
that's the
writer
goat.
Scott Snyder's up there, man. Like I really, really like Scott
So
Snyder.
were you with me when oh God, he was at one of the shows and something happened and I don't think I got a chance to meet him, but I'm trying to remember if I had something happen and for some reason I couldn't I didn't get a chance to meet him and he was there too, which
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, we were both there. I was thinking of meeting him too because I was really loving his stuff on New 52.
Yeah,
Um, but his lineup was
it was
atrocious.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember it was like forget about it. Like the Stan Lee lineup was the worst
was the worst.
ever, but Scott Snyder was up there. Like it was garbage. Like it would have been like it would have been like I don't know, like not half of stands, of course, but like it was still like ridiculous. Anyone like that, I'm assuming if Alan Moore ever came, which will never happen, but
That'll
if he
never
did,
happen.
that would be insane.
Alan Moore is one of my favorites of all
Yeah,
time, man. Swamp
yeah,
Thing and Watchmen and all that stuff.
yeah. Alan Moore's up there. Frank Miller, I know he's done
Yeah,
some things, but like his Dark Knight, Returns was obviously awesome, and I really enjoyed his run on Daredevil as well. I know that's not DC, but
It doesn't matter. Yeah, no, Daredevil's great.
yeah,
Obviously, Dark Knight Returns. Obviously, 300.
100, yeah. Sin
For sure.
City. I read a little bit of Sin City. It's pretty good.
It's good. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you hear WB cancel
I did hear that.
the
Yes, I
New
heard
Gods
that,
and
man.
Trench
I heard
films?
that. So I don't know what's going on. Well, I don't know what's going on. So I'm almost the same as an employee at work.
Yeah.
None
It's
of us know
exact.
what's going on.
Um.
I just gotta.
Okay.
Wait. Breaking news. Wait. DC doesn't. Warner Brothers doesn't know what's going on. Oh my god. Nobody knows what's going on anymore.
So you know, was incredible. Scott Snyder's like one of the best.
Yeah, he's
Without a
awesome.
doubt, honestly, one of the best. He came up with the Court of Owls, I believe.
Yes, he did. That was a
And
genius idea. They're,
oh my
so
god,
they're not using that. There's a lot of things that they're not using that they should be. Like honestly, Batman. Like let's face it, we can make Batman movies forever.
uh-huh.
Batman needs to be like James Bond, where every couple years there's a Batman because they're not doing anything on the TV show. The Batwoman TV show is horrendous garbage, right?
Yeah,
Supergirl already half ratings of last time. Like
yeah.
Supergirl is like literally like Batwoman and Supergirl is literally fighting for who's gonna get the worst ratings or whatever. And,
Which is yeah.
which Batwoman's probably the worst show, but Batman, that the Batman character, you could easily do a movie every 2 years. I think you could do a movie a year easily, but I mean, budget wise, like you could do one every 2 years. It needs to be like James Bond. It needs to continue on. Now, Superman, I would say every maybe 3 years you do a big budget Superman movie that's got a lot of power to it and all that. I don't know why they're not like this is a no brainer. Batman sells. And, Superman's my favorite. Oh, you know what? Just off topic. If Andrew and Truth are still on here, um, I'm doing that fans thing where I interview and talk to fans and all that, and that has nothing to do with uh, X-Men anymore. I've opened that up. So if either of you guys want to talk about your favorite hero, and no, and no conspiracies, like just talking like, yeah, I love Batman or Superman or Spider-Man or whatever. But just very loose and just having a fun time talking about characters we love, not arguing. And I don't like Zack Snyder or I love Zack Snyder. Like no arguing. Just
Mm-hmm.
not who oh I hate Tom Holland or whatever. Like just talking the fun stuff. And Steve,
Yeah.
if you want to come back with another character, I've got someone lined up tomorrow for Tarzan. He's the author of Tarzan on film.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, he reached out to me and and I was like, yeah, let's do Tarzan. I got a shitload of Tarzan cartoons and movies, and I'm a Tarzan nerd, so whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I mean,
that's open to everything. I've just opened it up because so many people wanted to do other stuff. Like
yeah,
somebody wanted to do the Phantom. Like some guy's got this Phantom. He's
that'd
like,
be
I want to talk
awesome.
about the Phantom, and everyone was like, oh, it's limited to just X-Men. And I was gonna open it up later. I didn't want to open it up so early, but it just like I mean, like so many, and like, remember Jordan? Remember Jordan? Steve, we talked to him. Yeah, he wants to talk about Hulk. So it's like we've got all these guys that want to talk about these other heroes. I thought, let me just open it up to like everybody. Uh,
Man.
you know. So yeah. Anyway, okay. So yeah. So what were you? Sorry, what were you saying? Yeah. No, does that? Oh, just the Scott Snyder line was. It was like you're either going to meet a bunch of people or just him.
Yeah.
And that was the year that the guy who's the artist on Thor was there.
Mm-hmm.
The Animal Man, right? All these names
Yeah.
are completely escaping me now, and I've totally forgot all their names. The guy who did Animal Man. Oh my
Yeah.
god, what the hell's his name? I don't know, but it was either you either meet Scott Snyder or like 5 people. So
You hit a bunch of people. I remember that, and there were some really big ones, and
yeah.
I was like, oh, Scott Snyder, that will be a reasonable one. And then we showed up, and I was like, the line kept growing.
I know, yeah. He was very popular.
Well, he's excellent, man. Like he is awesome. Maybe at some point be able to meet him, just to say, you're awesome like everyone else does. But like, I mean, he is one of the best. I like Jeff Loeb. He did
Yeah,
Hush. He's
yeah, yeah,
really good. Artists, I also like George Perez.
yes,
He's awesome. Some random person's phoning me. George Perez. He did The Stand, the
oh
comic
yeah,
book, and he was bang on with everything, man. Like his visuals are amazing. I love him. But Alex Ross, to me, you can't like. I don't know. You read Kingdom Come or something like that he's done, and I'm like, I don't know. Like it's hard. It was hard for me to go back and not look at painted comics after.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm like, I just want Alex Ross to do everything.
I like it. It sort of depends for me on what the comic is going for. Like so there's some where it's like this current latest issue of Beta Ray Bill that I just talked about in
Yep.
my X-Men video, which has nothing to do with Beta Ray Bill, but anyway. I liked the art in that. It reminded me of Heavy Metal Magazine kind of style, where there's just different styles. But like it fit for Beta Ray Bill, where I don't think Alex Ross would fit for that. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. That's why it's hard for me to pick an artist. I'm going to say Jack Kirby because Jack Kirby is just the best, anyways. But if we're trying to think of someone who's still alive, it's like what it's like what do you judge? Because I listen to a lot of Rob Liefeld's podcasts, all of them, and I watched a lot of interviews with Todd McFarlane. And I'm talking about interviews back in the day of like when they started out and they're doing and right before Image. And they're talking about how obviously art is super important, but if like you're going to be an artist, there's different types of artists, right? Like if you're going to be like Todd McFarlane said, if you're an artist and you want to get a job, you have depending on what you're submitting as your portfolio or whatever is going to determine what job you get. For example, some people think, oh, I'll hand in, a really cool pose of like Batman in color or something, right? So let's say you handed this in as your picture, right? With like a background. That person that at DC is going to look at that and say, "Oh, you're looking to be a cover artist."
Right.
Or if you're handing in colored pages of actual comic, like with panels and stuff, then they're thinking, "Oh, you want to be an inker."
Yes.
Right? If you hand in the pencils,
you're a penciler.
You're a penciler. So Tom McFarlane is like, what do you want to be? That's what you show them. And it's like, or if you want to be any of those things, you have to show them examples of all of it. You have to be like, here is like 10 pages of comic, like, so they can follow the flow. And then here's 10 pages with, inked on it. And then here's the cover to that. So it's like, that's sort of what you're supposed to be, how you market yourself. So because there's so many layers to this, and there's people like Rob Liefeld even admits this himself, that sometimes he would not fill in stuff, right? Like he would draw the pictures and kind of do a background and then send it, and then the inker had to fill in the backgrounds.
Right.
So it's like now, like who is that inker? Is that inker now? He's part of the art team, right?
Yeah, it's hard. Like it's hard with some of these guys. Like I was just reading one of the Grey Hulk issues with Peter David.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at the
art.
Todd
McFarlane start was he in on that one?
Yeah,
yet,
he was on it, but he did the Half-Life issue when Hulk meets Half-Life.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this art went totally bizarre, because if you look at like how Hulk had been drawn at that point, like it's like Todd McFarlane's art is very much like there's a lot of lines. I don't know how else to put it. Like there's a lot of lines, and all the characters are like thinner, I find, than they're like almost like string beans, right? Like they're almost like that. Whereas you look at Frank Miller, and he's always got like the really bulky guys, right? Like everyone is very bulky and square. There's a lot of squares with him. So I think it depends on really, like, I think there's the penciler and the inker have to be in sync, I think, because it you can actually tell when you get the issues and you get the pencil drawings versus the final art, and you're like, holy crap, like this looks totally different than what I'm actually seeing on the page.
And there's a lot of guys, and this is notorious for Jack Kirby as well. They would remove the inkers would remove detail so they wouldn't have to ink it, and the colors and stuff. And Rob Liefeld was saying that there's certain guys that he doesn't like the inking. Like sometimes he doesn't like the way that this person inks his work. I know there's a lot of talk with Hawk and Dove with like how, and there's a thing with Hawk and Dove where I don't remember I have the issues, but I don't remember which one. But there's one where it's like he wanted to turn the panel so you would read it like this.
Yeah.
And the editor was like, "This is a bunch of crap. I don't want that." And then he literally had the guy rearrange every panel to fit like a proper way you would read it.
Right.
And Rob Liefeld's like, "Well, this is a bunch of crap. Like you're changing my thing." So I mean, like I don't know. I mean, if you look at a comic, of course I don't have one at hand, but like even if I just looked at that one random one when I was looking at Detective Comics, there's like 4 or 5 names on there.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, writer artist. It's like there's tons of people coming together for this thing because you got the penciler, the inker, writer, and then there's also like scripter and stuff like that as well.
Yes. Like there's a writer who, and I've read like how they do a comic script, and it's not basically what, like, I believe the scripter is the one who actually inserts the dialogue, I think. Right? Because the script just says, this is what it should look like. Panel 1, blah, blah, blah. Panel 2, blah, blah, blah. And it works a lot like a screenplay, right? Yes. Where if you look at how a screenplay is written, it's like they don't like say, oh, this is the action scene. That's to be determined by the choreographer and the director in tandem. The screenwriter's just like big action scene. And if
there's anything specific.
Right.
So it's like, okay, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Superman. Like, so Superman is punching Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Then Steppenwolf knocks him off or something, and then gets up, gets stabbed. Like, that's the final moments. But prior to that, it's, Batman or Superman fighting parademons. And then it's like, Zach will figure it out.
Right.
Like at the time of or whatever.
Right.
It's like, it's only if it's an important thing that needs to be addressed, like this person specific, like Aquaman stabs them, and it's like okay, because that's an important action. But they're not going to literally write Aquaman ducks hits, like unless you're Alan Moore in a comic. Alan Moore, his pages, his descriptions were out of this world. They'd be like, this character is wearing green. And he's where, it's like, and then he does, and you're just like, whoa, I can't even, like, people would be like, I can't even draw this because there's so much for me to take in. I can't draw it. I can't piece together what to draw because they draw something. It's like, oh shit, I forgot to put, like a bow tie on this guy,
Yeah.
And Alan Moore is like, well, the bow tie symbolizes, the monarchy. And it's like, without the bow tie, that's not, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, he's very specific. But so I started reading the Joker Wars saga.
Oh, I didn't read that. Is it good?
Yeah, well, I'm only 2 in. Mm-hmm. The first issue was okay. It's basically talking about how Joker has, Punchline is there and she's like torturing Lucius Fox and they're trying to like break into the Batcave. But the second one is really good because it's a Batgirl issue.
Oh, cool.
So it's the Joker paying a visit to Batgirl. And the events of The Killing Joke have taken, prior. Like, they acknowledge it. Because the Joker basically is like, oh, I come to visit you again. But it's crazy because Barbara Gordon figures out someone to, like, he attacks her in her apartment, but he's hiding there. Mm-hmm. And she realizes that something's off because something is just, like, a little bit off in the apartment, like just moved a little bit to the right or something. And
like
she
Misery.
Just like, it's like Misery.
The penguin's not pointing north or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So so they have an attack and Joker basically paralyzes her again because she's got an implant in her spine that allows her to walk and he like disables it. So she's like trying to, and then she's like, I just have to make it to this alarm, and someone will come in, and she hits the alarm. She's like, oh crap, that this alarm, the one who answered it was Alfred, and he's dead.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's cool, man. I really liked it, and I won't give anything away, but it was really cool, man. Like it was way better even than the first issue, which was Batman centric.
Yeah. Did you get? Was that is that like a set now on Comixology
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the full thing in one? Is it one
yeah,
purchase or is it multiple? Because
yeah.
I mean, I go to the shop every Wednesday or well, every Tuesday night, and I saw all that kind of play out, and I keep seeing these Joker War, and they talked
Hmm.
about it. There's ramifications of it in Detective, obviously, and Batman and all that. So I caught glimpses of things that, like here and there from those, and this Infinite Frontier is sort of the aftermath of that
Right.
of the Joker War or whatever. But I never read Joker War itself because I always like anytime I see Joker, I'm like, oh, it's
I know.
Joker again. But Joker #1 convinced me that well, I don't know. It depends on what they do. And again, it's not Joker #1 is not really about the Joker as much as it is about Commissioner Gordon, but they're just using the name Joker to kind of get people to buy it and then tell you this Commissioner Gordon. Now I don't know if the next issue is going to be from Joker. What I think might be cool is if they do Commissioner Gordon is after Joker, then in the next issue it's Joker's point of view of what's going on,
Right.
and then the next one it goes back to Gordon's point of view. And I think having that, I don't want to say Alan Light Death Note style, but like
Yeah.
the cat and mouse, basically Nayland Smith and Fu Manchu, which is the way I was thinking about Three Jokers. Did you read Three Jokers? I didn't read it because I was just saying, and as soon as I see Joker, I'm like, I had the chance to buy all the issues. They're like literally in my hand, and I was gonna just get them, and I thought, I don't know. So I might do a digital on that one. Did you?
Yeah, I will. I'll probably read it. I heard about it. I didn't read it either. Same reason. Oversaturation of Joker. People sometimes seem to forget that Batman has one of the best rogues gallery of any character, if not the best rogues gallery of any character in comics.
Definitely in the top one or two if it's either
Yeah,
Spider-Man or Batman.
yeah, basically. So when people just focus on one guy, it gets really tiring after a while. I mean, there's only so many stories I think I want to read about the Joker before I'm just like, okay, I get it. Like, I read Kevin Smith's Cacophony, which
Oh
was
yes, that's a while
enough.
ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago, and like again, it was Joker, but they did one. Kevin Smith did one interesting thing in that Batman they gave Joker an antipsychotic, so he was actually lucid and somewhat sane
Oh my
for a
gosh.
period of time, and he's strapped to a gurney in Arkham Asylum. And Batman comes up to him and says, I want to actually know what you think of me, right? Because I never talk to you when you're somewhat lucid and saying, you're also
Right.
like giggling and like, bats and all that. He's like, I want to know. And Joker's like, oh, I hate you. He's like, I hate your existence. I can't stand you. Right. I was like, wow, this is interesting because you never really heard the Joker say that. In fact, all the implications have always been that the Joker loves Batman and he needs him and he needs him to stay because they can't. The Joker doesn't have that sort of place without his counter, which is Batman, like the exact opposite.
Right.
Right. Joker can't be chaos if there's not an ordered person, and that's he considers that Batman. So it was an interesting take on that to say, what does Joker actually think of Batman?
Yeah. Does he actually like him or not or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, Three Jokers looked neat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it was. See, the thing is, it was like Joker War, Three Jokers, and then now Joker #1. This whole thing happened so bunched up together that I was like, oh, I don't even know why I bought Joker #1. I think just because it was a #1, I literally thought maybe I should just buy this because I go DC comes out on Tuesdays,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel comes out on Wednesdays. But the shops get it, before that. So it's like I can, I just can't, I can't review them or whatever. So I can go and get anything I want. I'm always there super early, so I'm there like I'm never gonna miss out on an issue. Like I passed on the High Republic #1 for Star Wars just due to lack of interest.
Yeah.
Like it's a #1. I could have easily picked it up, had it in my hand. I thought, you know, Joker 1, I don't know what happened. I just thought, oh, what the hell? I'll just take a chance. I don't know. Like, it's with comics, it's weird because I'm reading all the X-Men stuff, and some of it's really good, some of it's like, okay. Does everything that I'm reading for DC, for some reason, I know how to pick them because, like, they like the 2 Supermans, the 2 Batmans, Nightwing, Wonder Woman, Flash, Suicide Squad's not bad,
Yeah.
Joker's pretty good. Like, I happen to just pick all the good ones, or maybe it's just that all those characters are gonna have good stories. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing that looks really trash from DC, and I just haven't been picking that up, so I haven't been exposed to the crap version. But Batman and Superman, well, Superman's been on and off with Bendis, but Batman has pretty much not really ever been bad
Right.
in a long time that I can remember. Like New 52, even
Yeah.
um, prior to that, even I still thought it was like really Detective Comics and Batman. Have never really gotten into this spot. For Rebirth, for sure, Detective Comics is kick ass, all of it. So I probably should have gotten Joker War, and the 3 Jokers. I probably should have gotten that, but I just didn't. And it is what it is. Like I can't go back now and get it because it's like super gone now. But maybe I'll get them on digital and read them just as a for fun, because it seems like they're just a for fun thing, right? They're not really.
Yeah.
Well, Joker War is part of the thing, but the 3 Jokers,
That
is
was
that is it just for
prior, I thought.
fun?
Yeah,
That
that
was
was prior.
that
Yeah.
was prior to that, right? Or was it right after? I can't remember the order of these things either. But
It,
Joker #1, I highly recommend for sure.
I think Joker War, it was 3 Jokers and Joker War, I think. I think that's what I heard. Um the Flash is a really good I collected that for quite a while. The Rogues are awesome. He's got some
Yeah,
really good characters. But Barry Allen is just like such a great character. I love one of the smartest things did in Blackest Night, which is one of my favorites of the recent,
of the yeah
is the main characters through like most of it are Flash and Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. And they're both terrific because,
for
again,
sure.
Superman, like Batman's not in it because Batman's supposedly dead, right? Darkseid killed him. He didn't kill him. He sent him back in time, but he's
Right,
supposed to
right,
be dead.
whatever. Yeah,
Wonder Woman's in it. Like all the main people are in it, but the focus, especially at the start, is Hal Jordan and the Flash,
Mhm.
and it's just awesome, man, to see the 2 of them because I found that I could read almost any Hal Jordan story. Like the Green Lantern stuff is just great. And the
Yep.
same with the Flash. Like I can just read that, just pick it up and read it, no problem.
Yeah, Flash is easy to get into. I don't know. It's like I got out. I started with Rebirth very strong, and I dropped it because I just can't collect everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just recently got this 768 or whatever the hell, the Infinite Frontier starting, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. So I don't know. There's some, like, I read a little bit of the Superman, Red and Blue,
Mm.
and the first story was very not good.
Mm.
Like they imply that Superman is been like raped by yeah, by these weird, I don't know if they're Russians or whatever they are. I don't know. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is not good.
I mean,
So I dropped it. I didn't finish reading it. Like literally, I'm like, yeah, I'm done, and that's it. So it's like, why? And it's like you have this great action comic and Superman thing together, and then you have this rubbish on the side. But I'm like, it's not part of the main thing, so that's fine. I don't care. I'm just going to ignore it.
I don't even understand. Like the only writer I know who consistently writes about rape is Alan Moore, right? Like Swamp Thing was raped, Watchmen has rape, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen has
Oh
rape,
yes, yeah. Not in the movie, but in the books,
not
yeah.
movie. But V for Vendetta, I think there was going to be like if it's like that, the Natalie Portman character, if it's like the movie, the Natalie Portman character she's dressed up as a schoolgirl and there's that like
Well, yeah, they try to infiltrate
yeah.
that priest or whatever who's been I think he was a rapist.
Yeah, like
So
Alan
it's like
Moore.
I was like, what the hell, buddy?
Alan Moore loves his rape. Like I don't know how else to put it.
He's like obsessed with this like concept or whatever.
Yeah, he's like when Swamp Thing gets raped, that was like the weirdest like
I know. I read that twice because the first time I read it, I did not understand what the hell was happening. I thought, well, that was very weird. And then I'm like, what the hell? Let me read that again. And I read it again, and I was like, oh man, this was kind of. It was actually very disturbing.
Yeah,
but it was very interesting because I was like, wow, like okay, that was weird, you know.
yeah. Who would have thought this? I remember you. I think you phoned me, and you're like, "Have you read this issue yet?"
Yeah, it's crazy. I've got all that in hardcover in the collections.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
so those are really cool.
But
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Alan Moore and rape, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like if you're reading a story and someone gets raped, go check to see if Alan Moore wrote it. That's all I gotta say, because there will be a rape in everything. It's not.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I know it's great. Well, so we haven't seen I haven't seen Godzilla versus Kong yet.
No.
So, and we're going to talk about, and there was no Superman this week as well.
Yes.
So,
No.
I'm thinking that on Sunday we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through Godzilla, the whole thing, and we'll talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously, because there is one tomorrow, I think, right? Yes,
yeah.
There's one tomorrow. So we're gonna hit those up. So I mean, I don't want to get into the Godzilla right now. I mean, I already know the spoilers. I know I know the other monster. What like it's like everybody knows. That Mecha Godzilla's in this thing. I have seen some footage now of Mecha Godzilla proper, and I mean, it looks cool to me. Like, it's not the Mecha Godzilla. It's not the alien Mecha Godzilla from like the first ever. Well, I don't know if he's an alien or not. That I don't know the origin of it, but the original Mechagodzilla is the best. And the '90s one I did not like at all. And then in the 2000s they reintroduced Mechagodzilla as Kiryu, which is he's created by the humans. Did I ever show you Tokyo SOS or the one or no, I didn't show you those. Oh my god. So, do you know what the storyline of that Mechagodzilla is? This is crazy. So the Millennium series always continues from the first movie, like the 1954 or whatever Godzilla. So in the first one of that is called. There's two. It's Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and then the follow-up is Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, Mothra, Tokyo SOS.
Okay.
Those two go together. You can they're both 90 minutes. You can literally just watch them together as a 3-hour movie because it just is exactly the same thing. It just continues right into it. And those two continue from the first movie. So it's actually like a 3-part thing. So the humans make Mechagodzilla over top of the corpse of the first Godzilla. So it's an armored version of the dead Godzilla from the first movie.
Oh gosh.
It's freaking awesome. And the new Godzilla is the new Godzilla. So it's like it's the old Godzilla. It's like they literally have his bones. Like they go underwater and his bones are there and they collect his bones and make Mechagodzilla.
That's crazy.
It's so good. And that's the big statue. I have a big statue of that one. That's the big one I have. I have a smaller one of the original Godzilla, which is great too. But yeah, that's the storyline. Like, I mean, that's just the damn best. Those two movies are the damn best. Like, and it's like people piloting Godzilla. It's like Power Rangers. Like, there's guys in there piloting them. So yeah, that was wicked. But yeah, so we haven't seen that. And then what was it? Did you so yeah, Detective Comics, and what was the other thing you just said you were doing?
Joker War.
Oh, the Joker War. How many issues is that? Do you know?
Oh hell, no. It's 330 pages on Comixology, so it's
It's like
multiple
10.
issues.
It's
Yeah,
probably like 10 or 15,
roughly
or maybe
10 or so.
15 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or they could be they may be larger.
A little bit thicker. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to tell now with comics because when I go there, I just get I just get what's there, and I don't really pay attention to the price I'm paying, which has
Mm.
to do with the number of pages usually, although they're going up by $1. So I'm not really paying attention to that. So I don't really know anymore. Like, and half the things I get on digital, and I know on digital there's no ads. So if you're saying it's 300 something pages on digital, shit, that might be 20 issues then or something,
Might be.
because if each one is only like 20 pages, it depends, right? Like I don't know how they do it, because I know that they're going to show you, there's always going to be covers. Like usually when you buy those collections, at the end there's all the covers,
Covers. Yeah, yeah.
and then there's like like a little bit of like interviews and stuff, so it's like it's hard to tell exactly how many it is. Well, shit, I didn't know it was that long.
Well, I think it's everything. I think it's everything because the first one I think is a Detective Comics issue, and I think the second book is a Batgirl from her title. So it's literally supposed to be everything together.
All right, so you know what, let me take a look here, because that tells me that I have some of those, because if it's part of Detective Comics, um, God, it's going to me for find Detective Comics. Hold on. All right, Detective Comics. So I'm going to say that's got to be towards the bottom. Yeah. Oh, you're right. So Joker War, I've read all of all of the Detective Comics tie-ins,
Right,
which is
right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them.
Which
So
goes to show you how many titles there are now in the Batman world. Like,
yeah, so there's 5 of those. There's 5 of Batman for
yeah,
sure. Right now, Detective Comics I was getting digitally until Infinite Frontier.
okay,
So after Infinite Frontier, I don't have them on my iPad anymore because, um, Detective, well, DC Comics do not give you a digital code.
right, right. It's the
Uh,
Marvel ones only.
it just only Marvel gives you a digital
Right.
code. So I'm actually very close to canceling all the Marvel comics anyways, and just get them digital, and then I'll just keep the DC, because like DC, it's like if I want them digitally, I'll just get them later, because it's
Yeah,
almost like it's just for space issues,
of
and
course.
there's so
Yeah.
many X-Men books coming out now that it's just hard to get them all. Actually, I like the quality of the DC pages better, um, than the Marvel pages. The Marvel pages are all like the cover, like they're the glossy ones,
Yeah.
but they shine. It's hard to read them if you got a light, because like it's
Y-
like glaring.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's well, I still do when I read Comixology, I still do the guided view as well. I really it does throw you off sometimes though, because sometimes it does read it out of the wrong order. Or what will happen is it'll pass like a bubble or something, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
crap, was I supposed to read that? And then it goes down to where it was, and you're like, oh crap, I wasn't supposed to read that right now. So I read it out of order.
Are you reading? What's your device? Is it an iPad? Is it a mini or a full
It's a
iPad?
mini. It's a mini.
So an iPad. Well, even on my regular iPad, I'll show you what I do, and this makes it a little bit better. This is for sure perfect on an iPad. On an iPad mini, it might not be that bad either. So if I'm looking at Beta Ray Bill, I can hold it this way,
Yeah.
but if I go like that, and then it's just one scroll,
Yes.
next page, scroll, next
Yeah.
page, scroll, next page. That's how I read it. Now on
Okay.
an now on an I so I go fid to width,
Yes.
and I used to do it on the mini, because if you turn the mini, um, like landscape,
Yeah.
it's it's just as wide as a comic.
Yes.
So it's just one scroll,
And then you're
and
good.
then you're good. Now on the iPad, this is not exactly a comic. Like this is a little small for me,
Mm-hmm.
so I still turn it,
Yes.
because I need I need the wider. My eyes are garbage too, anyways. So there's that.
Yeah, it's if your eyes are bad, then it's even worse, right?
Yeah, so I don't do guided view anymore because I only do guided view if I'm having to read it on my phone. But even on
Mm,
my phone now, I've actually turned it the other way, and it's not too bad. It's just
that's
3 scrolls,
right,
right?
right.
Because you can't fit the whole thing on. It's like but hey, I mean, at least we can read it on there. So I think it's kind of cool that way. But yeah, I do guided view if I'm reading it on my computer, and then I just use the arrow keys and do that
You see, I scroll if I'm reading on my computer.
with the arrow keys.
Yeah. Well, actually, I use my mouse. I use the mouse wheel.
Oh wait, how are you you're going full screen and then scrolling? I don't think I've ever tried that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever tried it that way. Well, I mostly read off my iPad, to be honest.
yeah,
It's either the physical comic that I have in my hand or it's the
yeah,
iPad.
yeah.
Those are the main things. Okay, I'm gonna just check something while we're talking here. Did you? Oh, hold on, I got some new things here. We're just waiting. No,
For
okay.
Sean.
Sean will be here in about 10-15 minutes.
Okay. I
Um,
want you to know too. I read Absolute Carnage.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you like it?
yeah. It was good. The one thing that is weird to me is that in it, there's two things that are, and the reason I remembered that is because of what you were talking about with Mecha Godzilla. What Mecha Godzilla and Spider Man have in common is so Carnage uh, is dead in Absolute Carnage, and the symbiote is basically again covering his dead body, like he's rotting, and
Right,
it covers him, and it's basically like control, like just dragging him along, right? So it's talking like it's Carnage, but Cletus Cassidy is dead, so it's really kind of weird, right? Because the symbiote now thinks it's Carnage as opposed to like
right.
Cletus. And like that it's very odd because they're talking about they want to like there's a symbiote god
Yeah,
and they
no.
want to like wake him up, which just sounds terrible to me. Like why would you want to do that, like the god of the symbiotes?
Yeah,
uh
that's this whole King in Black thing,
yeah,
which I just can't get into. I read Absolute Carnage #1 with the red cover, right, where he's like,
yeah,
yeah, I read that one, and then that kicks this whole thing off with No,
yeah,
KNULL.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
no. Yeah, he's the guy. Yeah, so he's the one who's like, he's invaded. If it's not an X-Men book, it's a King in Black tie-in, and
oh really,
everything's a yeah, everything is null with the little
yeah,
with
yeah,
the spiral.
the bullseye,
The bullseye. It's like, yeah, it's bullseye is the targets that get smaller,
yes,
but
the
this one's like
target,
a spiral. I
yeah.
have tons of tattoos. I have a lot of fake tattoos. When Absolute Carnage came out, I grabbed all of the tattoos. I have like tons. You could put like temporary tattoos everywhere. So did you read that whole entire arc, or
I just read the core issues for that one.
yeah,
um it was good though. It was the other thing that was weird was Venom and Spider-Man were very chummy,
yep,
which I always like. Eddie Brock, to me, Eddie Brock always hates Peter Parker, and Venom is always a villain. I know that he became anti-Venom at one point, and anti-Venom is, I guess, a hero.
I
But
have no idea.
yeah, I think he's a hero, but like, I don't know. I always say Venom is a villain. Eddie Brock hates Peter. Joni loves Chachi. Peter, Peter Park,
But does
Eddie
Chachi
Brock.
give a flying fuck about Joni? That's from Night at the Roxbury.
but Eddie Brock hates Peter Parker. I'm not like, oh,
Yeah,
they turn into friends. Like, get out of here. Just like,
yeah,
why
forget
would
it.
Eddie Brock like Spider-Man now? And again, it's a lot like what's happened with like Harley Quinn, where I think the character just became so popular they tried to shoehorn him into becoming a hero. But he doesn't really belong. It's the same with Harley Quinn. Like, oh, she eventually woke up and realized that the Joker was abusing her, and now like her being part of Gotham City Sirens as like an anti-hero is okay,
Yeah.
right? Like her being in the Suicide Squad is okay. But her like, oh, I want to now do right. Eh,
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird. I'm not buying it. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Now they got Punchline, which I, j- I mean, have you read anything about Punchline? She seems kind of whatever to me.
I've read, so she's in Joker War.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And I think she was in either Batman or I think she was in Batman, like New Frontier Batman. I think she was
Well,
a
yeah.
back.
There's a backup story. There's a backup story with
I,
Punchline.
I, I'll be honest with you, I don't care. Like, I don't care about any of Joker's people, right? I didn't really care about Harley Quinn. The only thing that really made her stand out when the anime comics was her voice and the fact she dressed like the Jester,
Mhm.
the costume. I didn't care about the character, but her voice was very much like New York, where she
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
And then like her costume was very unique. And then Birds of Prey she was in, Dr. Harleen Quinzel, and she doesn't get the costume till the last episode, and then the show got canceled, so you got nothing.
Yep.
Um, but that to me was like she's a villain. Like I don't like this. Oh, the character becomes so popular, we make them a hero. Like I don't like that. If the character's a villain, unless there's like a natural or I guess organic story arc that you can believe. Like I mean, Sandman was okay when he was I think he was a reserve member of the Avengers or something.
Yeah,
Sandman at one point.
he kind of flip flopped. He's kind of a good guy.
Yeah, but like that was like okay because he didn't kill anyone. He was just like a crook, and a
Right.
crook can eventually decide to go straight. But Harley Quinn's a murderer.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like
So
she's murdered people. Like, oh, okay. How are you a good guy now?
yeah, I don't get it and I don't buy it. And it's the same with Venom. Like Venom maybe like saw himself as a better version of Spider-Man. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. But so he's like, I'm not going to hurt anyone. Da 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 da. That's cool. But I don't want him teaming up with Spider-Man. The only time that worked was in Maximum Carnage. The only reason that worked is because they both had a common foe who was Carnage.
Right, right.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like the He-Man Skeletor relationship. Like, they could team up to fight Hordak, but like they really shouldn't be teaming.
Yeah.
They
They're
really
just
shouldn't be teaming up.
yeah, in general.
Well,
And they should be
I'm pretty sure that Godzilla and Kong are going to team up to fight Mechagodzilla. So I'm pretty sure
oh,
that's happening.
but again, like that's believable because they're animals.
Yeah, and they're
Essentially.
good guys. They're both good
Yeah.
guys. Godzilla's a
Yeah.
good guy in
Yeah.
this MonsterVerse series. So
Well, I
he
mean,
really should be, teaming up with them.
Godzilla. I won't say too much about Godzilla, but to me, Godzilla. I know that the movies didn't depict him this way, but to me, Godzilla was never a villain because he was created by man, right? Like he was
Right.
basically like mutated by the bombs. So you can't blame him. He's just an animal. He's just too
Yeah.
big.
The idea of Godzilla, and we'll get heavy into this on Sunday. We can touch upon it here a bit. It's like it's like he was created, and then every movie has a different sort of way to show him. The first few, he was definitely a villain, but not in a villain where it's like, he's not choosing anything. He's just a force of nature, and they were
Mhm.
treated like disaster movies, like
Mhm.
especially. You saw Shin Godzilla, I think, right?
Yeah,
You saw,
I saw in the theater. Yeah,
you saw, with me, right? We saw it
yeah.
together. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, that was literally a monstrous force of nature that, like, at one point, and I've seen that movie 3 times now, I think. Yeah, at least three. I saw it once or twice in the theater. Oh, I've seen it 4 times. I think I saw it once or twice in the theater, and then I saw it at least once or twice on Blu-ray. And like, there's one part where he just incinerates, and it's not even like where you're like, yeah, you're like, that was awesome. Like he incinerates, and you're just like, oh dear. Like he's just incinerated everybody. And it's not even like fun carnage. You're like, oh man. You remember like what was that? Oh god, what was it? What's the guy? The guy who made the first American Godzilla?
Oh, Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So in the beginning of his career, he made great movies like Unisols
Stargate.
and Stargate and stuff. But then he became this like schlock director, which is okay. I can take a schlock movie, but like it was it 12, 10, 4, no, it's the date 12, 9,
2012.
2012. Sure, whatever. That's why you never use a date as a movie because no one's gonna remember it. And remember, like that was fun carnage.
Yeah.
Like stuff was freezing over. You're like, oh, this is cool, right?
Yeah.
And then you're watching Shin Godzilla, and you're like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like you literally, my heart's like, oh god, Godzilla just killed everybody, and you're like, oh my god. So that's that interpretation. And then, I mean, you got like, we just like my wife and I are going through them all. I've seen every Godzilla movie anywhere between 2 to 3 times to anywhere up to like 10 or more times, depending on which one it is. Because there's my favorites and then there's ones I tend to skip. And we did the entire Millennium series, and then we did some of the 85, like the Heishi era. I was like, let's just put a stop to it and go to the Showa era and start from the beginning. And I mean, like now we're getting to the point where we just finished Invasion of the Astro Monster, which was the first appearance of the Planet X Zalians or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that point on, there's like that segment where it's kind of like,
yeah,
a bit cheese. I still love Gigan, even though it's a bit cheese. I still love Mechagodzilla. I think that's a great Mechagodzilla, Terra Mechagodzilla are sick. After those, basically from Mechagodzilla and on, they're all awesome. So there's just a few. I love Megalon as well. I know Megalon is like a cheese movie, but it's great fun. But it's like that's like super not for everyone. Like the first couple Godzilla movies, including Rodan, if you want to throw that in there, including Mothra's solo movie, which I think is bloody awesome, 10 out of 10. I love it. Godzilla versus Mothra, or Godzilla versus the Thing, or whatever you want to call that movie, is bloody 10 out of 10. It's awesome. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, Ghidorah, like it used to be called Ghidorah. So Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, is bloody, like I would say that's 10 out of 10. After that, it's like Astro Monster or Monster Zero or Planet X, whatever you want to call that one. We called it Invasion of the Astro Monster, which is the name of it, but it's like a weird. But like the second movie is called Gigantus, the fire monster, and you're like,
right.
Now they renamed it Godzilla Raids again, just because you want Godzilla's name in there. So yeah, it's a bit weird. But yeah, Godzilla can be so many different things. So whatever they do is whatever your interpretation is. Like the Shin Godzilla is definitely like not nice.
No, yeah, you're on the human side on that one.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, it is what it is. I started, and we're not going to talk too much about it because we're going to wait till everyone catches up on Invincible. I started reading that, and I've been just plowing through it. It's very easy reading. If it's on sale, I highly recommend just grabbing all 3 compendiums. I'm on issue 20 now or something. Like I've just been plowing through them. It's pretty damn cool. It's really good, and the cartoon is good. It's weird. It's like I'm sure this is the same with Walking Dead, where the people who read the Walking Dead comic, there's the people who read the comics, and there's people who are watching the show, and then there's people who have done both. And I never read the Walking Dead comics, and I stopped watching Walking Dead once they captured Negan and didn't kill him right away. And I thought there's just too much plot armor on Negan, and it's throwing me right out of this show. Like I watched a few episodes after that, and he's in jail, and they're talking to him like, I can't. I couldn't go back to it. And I watched the first season of the Fear the Walking Dead, which was pretty good, but then I'm just like, I'm kind of done.
Well, I mean, I can actually pinpoint when I stopped walking. I never watched Fear the Walking Dead, but I stopped before you, and I remember the episode because you and I talked about it, and I'm like, in the last episode of Walking Dead, what happened was it rained,
I know, and it's like that's all that it was. And it was like,
and I'm like,
okay.
I'm done. Like I can't. Like this thing's never ending. It should have ended when Rick left, because to me he was okay. So here's how I look at it, and there's exceptions to this. Whoever is in the first shot of the show or the movie is the hero. That's the main
Right.
character. If something happens to them, unless you're talking about like Psycho or Scream or one of those ones who intentionally kills, like swerves you,
Right.
when that person leaves, the story or whatever resolves, the story is done,
Right.
and you don't continue. Like
Yeah,
you're
Rick.
done. Yeah, and in that one it was Rick. Rick was. I don't recall what the first shot of The Walking Dead was, but I'm pretty sure Rick was in it.
Yeah, he
And-
gets out of the hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
He's messed up.
Yeah, like and then he leaves, and the show's continuing. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
It's
it can continue if it needs to follow Rick's life through this zombie apocalypse. And I think, like, to me, Rick was the best.
yeah,
Like, period. Daryl and all these other guys, like, they're cool, but like, look, man, it's Rick. Rick is the best. I don't care about anybody else. Anyone else could die but Rick. That was the only person that had plot armor because it's his show. And you put him through, and they put him through the ringer, his son and all that. And it's like his wife and his best friend. So they put him through the ringer, and I'm okay with that. Like, let's see what happens with this character. And it's just his life. And the thing is, it's like, unfortunately, when you base it around one character who's an actor, who's a man who wants to continue on in other, acting gigs, there's that. But also the show right from season 2, and this is a Walking Dead side note, but like season 1 was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
No question about it. It's
Yeah.
like, this show is killer good, and I'm all over it. And then season 2, hey, Battle Angel, what's going on? I don't care. Yeah. So, okay. So season 1, okay, let's go through Walking Dead. Season 1, Walking Dead, that was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was like, don't fucking talk to me when this is.
Sorry. One
Yeah.
second. Sorry.
I was like, don't talk to me.
Yep.
I was like, don't talk to me. Like, during this show, it's like, I need to see every episode. And then season 2, and I'm like, wow, this is boring already.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was like double the episodes, and I thought, oh man. My idea for the Walking Dead TV show, because comics are different. Comics, look, it's a 22-page comic every month. You can, like, continue that on forever, right? Like, however you want to do it. TV series, you're investing a lot of time in watching it. You're reading a comic in 10 minutes. Let's say 15 minutes, you're really enjoying the comic. This is now an hour that I'm sitting here watching. So I need to be invested more into it. Can't just be like, wow, that was a really cool story. Let's see what happens next month, right? This is like every week I got to devote an hour of sitting there. And season 2, it's like, oh, the barn and all that. I'm like, well, I know there's zombies in the barn. Like, let's go. And season 1, I don't know how many episodes it was. It was like 6 or 7 or 8 or something. I don't know what it was. But every episode was like, whoa, 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 this is crazy. Season 2, it's like, oh boy, talking and nothing's going on and talking. And oh, what's in the barn? Well, it's zombies, obviously, because what else is it?
Yeah.
And there's more talking. So it was like, I don't know how many episodes season 2 was, but you could have cut it in half.
Easy.
So what I thought they should have done was they should have called it The Walking Dead and do miniseries. Walking Dead, done. Walking Dead season 2, I would have called it The Walking Dead, The Farm. And it was them on the farm, and make it 6 episodes, done. Next one is Walking Dead, The Prison. Whatever. Sean is in. Let's get Sean in there. Hey, Sean, how's it going?
So,
Hey. So
talking
it's
Walking
like
Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah. So Walking Dead season 1. So I said, so season 1, Walking Dead season 2, The Farm. Walking Dead season 3, The Prison. These are all 6-part miniseries that follow Rick and his buddies doing whatever. And then I don't know what the next one was called, but you could Alexandria, Walking Dead, Alexandria, and then it's everything there. That I think that would have been a better format. This like multiple episodes where nothing happens. It's embarrassing. I'm surprised I lasted as long as I did. Sean, are you still watching Walking Dead, or did you give up?
No, I gave up. Later on, when they have a full like set, maybe I I might get that if physical media still exists. But the thing is that they adhere too much to the network formula of like 22 episodes for a hit,
Right.
and it's like you don't need. I think everyone's wising up to the idea that you don't need that. It's funny because I remember people at work were talking about this the other day about how like remember the days of like 22 episode seasons. Yeah, CW still does that, and if you watch like all those like superhero shows and stuff, you see that, right? But with streaming shows, you realize you don't necessarily need that.
Yeah, and the thing is that like let's try. Hey, Raven, what's going on? Are the only exceptions for
I agree with that. The thing is that the hero show, like the show's really like, the thing is that both of those characters, James Bond, like Doctor Who, is just the regenerations, right? So like you actually need different actors to play the same character and put their own spin. Where James Bond is like an icon. It's I think same with Batman, same with any of those comic book characters. But like I never looked at Rick as an icon, right? Like I just looked at him as a dude.
These characters are characters where the actor is replaced for a reason, but the character remains the same. If you replace Rick, the character, with a different actor playing Rick, I don't know, that might be weird. I don't know if that would count. Like, yeah, because the Doctor constantly regenerates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And James Bond does his time. Like, like Sean Connery does, like, well, he did like what, 6, and then he did, and then he backed out, then he came back for a weird one or whatever. And then he came back, and then he came back again. And then Roger Moore did it like as long as he could. Like he did 7 movies. On movie 7, View to a Kill, you're like, dude, like he's getting old. Rob Kirkman, yes. I don't know. And honestly, I can't respect you.
And they go out of their way to make a story reason for it, but it's like, I don't know. In Kong Skull Island, they're fighting in the daytime. It's cool.
And they fight in the daytime in this one, and I've seen the footage.
Yeah, they do in the daytime here too.
Mechagodzilla
there are a
has
few
a lot of
exceptions.
arsenal.
Pardon?
Mechagodzilla has a lot of arsenal. That's for damn sure.
He's wicked.
He's crazy. It's crazy.
What the hell, man?
It's crazy.
It's awesome, man.
I saw the toys. The toys are not good. So if you look at any of the toy reviews for Mechagodzilla, it's going to spoil the effect of how cool he actually looks when you see him. And there's a lot of arsenal. I'm just going to tell you, right? Like I'm like, holy crap. Okay, but we're gonna do Godzilla.
Does a lot, man. It's cool.
We're gonna do Godzilla and Invincible Large this Sunday, everybody. And we're gonna open the chat up. So you better watch Godzilla, everybody. Watch Godzilla, and we're gonna talk the shit out of it. And I'm the Godzilla freaking master. Wherever you see this friggin' face, you're gonna see friggin' Godzilla.
I rewatched King Kong versus Godzilla for this. Listen,
look,
when I was a kid,
great.
That thing was heaven, right?
Of course.
And I still love it. I mean, I like the end fight of that because they come up with a lot of fun gags. It's not just them just like that. It's like, I love the tree thing.
Yeah.
Because Godzilla's like, he can't stop using his fire breath. And King Kong's like, screw this. He shoves a tree in his mouth. And then Godzilla's like, oh, and he shoots it out like a missile. It's wicked,
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Gray Malkin, I see you're in the chat. How's it going? I sent you a private email, so check that email.
And this.
So let's get into. So hold on, Battle Angel. He quit watching with season 3. I think season 3 was better than season 2 of. This is Walking Dead, Sean. You weren't here for.
Yeah, but which one was the farm?
Part 2, which was garbage. 3 was the prison, which was much better.
Yeah.
Gray Malkin, I sent you a private link. Stop watching when Rick left me too. That's when I stopped. Past miniseries and or to whatever it was called, prestige format, whatever thing. That's not in there. And it's like, so that's never going to happen. Which is why I just don't even associate. Now I just want, the reason why I'm so easy on some superhero movies and I'm harder on others is the characters. If Captain America is Captain America, and I feel that that is Captain America from comics, I'm okay with them updating an origin or changing the way Captain America learned to use the shield or something, or I don't know. It's like if I feel like Gal Gadot to me was Wonder Woman, so I'm okay with World War I instead of World War II, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like she feels like she's the real Wonder Woman, so I'm good with whatever little changes they need to make to bring it to the screen because they didn't want to make it the same as Captain America and have her fight the Nazis again or whatever, right? World War II.
Except they did want to make it like Captain America, so they set it in a world war.
Yeah, well, but that is Wonder Woman's origin.
Yeah,
exactly. So, but what I'm saying is like they make
it didn't have to be, but sure. Yeah.
The one thing I would say is I've always thought that they should have done the Hulk origin correctly. They to this day they've never done the Hulk origin correctly in live action.
No,
ever.
No, exactly. But the point is then do you then say, well, I'm not watching this effing Bill Bixby TV series because it has nothing to do with the Hulk comics? Okay, you could do that, but then you're not going to watch anything.
I always go back to Superman the movie because we grew up with that, so that was the thing. But when you look at honestly, Superman the movie is more based on the George Reeves TV series. Like that pilot for the George Reeves series is Superman the movie in like 22 minutes. And when they went for inspiration for Lex Luthor, they just based it on James Bond villains. He has a lair.
Yeah.
He makes all these speeches. That's all it really is, right? So if you were a fan of the comics back then, and you're like, what is this crap? General Zod doesn't look anything like General Zod in the comics. Where's his beret? Like, how come Gene Hackman's playing like Lex Luthor? He should be bald. It's like, why is he in a layer and stuff? What is this crap? Why does the Fortress of Solitude look like a bunch of phalluses? What is this, right? It's like, but to us, that's what it is. And it still works. It's different, but it still works, right? So for many generations, like growing up now, those things, I'm glad, to your point, Jay, that they've stuck true to the characters first and foremost, even though some other things are changed up, right?
Yeah, because that's who you're investing in. Like, to me, superhero movies are the characters, which is why I like Wonder Woman 1984. It's like, well, it's Wonder Woman. She fights people. That's cool. She looks cool. She does stuff. I'm good with that. Like, oh, well, I don't like the way Maxwell Lord was portrayed. It's not the comics. Oh, no, it wasn't the comics? Well, that's the only time that's ever happened in the history of cinema where the character is not exactly the comics. It's like, I know. It's like, for further example, see Everybody. Like,
and to be honest with you, Maxwell Lord, Morgan Edge, villainous industrialists. So it's like, it's like,
there's a lot of those in DC Comics.
I know, they really like that.
It's like
DC is very anti-corporation, I feel.
Yeah.
Like they do not like that. The only guy who can do it is Bruce Wayne. Unless your name is Bruce Wayne, you're an evil bastard, and Wonder Woman will probably need to snap your neck at some point.
Yeah. Hashtag Wonder Woman wouldn't do that. I don't like that idea that they had her do that. Anyways, whatever.
They did.
That was weird.
I know. I don't like that.
That was weird.
That
was weird.
But in any case, they always have to do the. But again, it's like, to me, it has to be the character that I'm pumped up to see. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, let's look at if you look at the beginning of, let's say, Iron Man. It's like, yeah, well, that's Iron Man. Like, is Iron Man?
Yeah, it's not the Vietnam War, but it's the Iron Man origin. Yeah,
it's the Iron Man origin in the best way you could do it for right now to make it make sense for someone watching it right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, that's fine. And actually, we never talked about this. When he says at the end, "I'm Iron Man," I was pretty stunned. I'm like, oh shit, he just gave away his identity. But I always thought it was weird. And I'm not bagging on the old comics, but I thought it was weird that it's like his bodyguard or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I always thought that was kind of weird to me.
They're trying to stick true to the formula of like an alter ego, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess after a while they're like, we don't really need this here.
No, you didn't need that because it's like he could just be Iron Man himself.
It's the Superman formula, right?
It's the Superman formula,
everything comes from Superman. So
they're
trying to do that, and it just didn't work.
Yeah,
Iron Man.
and
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone back and read the Iron Man comics from Big Premiere issue #1 because Captain America kept the numbering of tales.
Yeah.
Iron Man restarted the numbering. And I've read from #1. I don't know how many I've read, but I kept just getting them through digital and just kept reading them. And yeah, they're neat. It's the same formula of Daredevil. It's the same formula of Spider-Man. It's the villain of the month book.
Yeah.
New
Mhm.
guy shows up, Iron Man finds a way to beat him, and then it's like, oh, does Pepper love me? But whatever. It's like, okay. And it's like, but that's the Marvel comics that we like. So that's what it is. But when they're doing the movie, they want to make it a little bit more different. So it's not everyone's the same, right? Because it's just going to be like, well, do you want high-tech people? Well, then it'll just be Iron Man fighting high-tech people. Do you want cosmic people or magic people? Then it'll just be Thor fighting those magic people or fantasy kind of creatures. It's like, do you want street level people? Well, then that'll just be Daredevil fighting those people. It's just like, basically the hero was just his placement. Like, it's like, oh, do you like technology? Well, then it'll just be Iron Man because he'll just fight tech people. And that seems to be what they just try to get every genre in there, and it'll be like there's a hero, and like Hulk would just fight big, huge, monstrous people, except for the Boomerang, who was really cool.
Boomerang's awesome, man.
I had a cosplay as
would love to
Boomerang in the
see
old
him.
costume.
I would love to see him in live action. I think that would be great, but like, they're never going to do it. Probably.
Well, they're doing Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad.
They are, but it's more like because that's seen as an offbeat sort of thing where that sort of character would exist. Like Captain Boomerang, it's hard to see him outside the Suicide Squad because like he's in the Suicide Squad in the comics, he's such an ass and he's ridiculous. He's a coward. He's a bully, but he's also like, he's hilarious, I think. But like, if you were in his company, you wouldn't be able to stand him. You're like, this guy's an utter loser, right? Like, he can only exist in the Suicide Squad in that version. And that's why I think, like, when I'm watching this thing, I'm like, well, they got James Gunn who makes those movies that are like kind of funny, but it's also kind of weird. Like if he does it like he did Slither and stuff like that, like the Trauma style.
Yeah.
Which I assume he's doing.
Did you guys watch random? I just watched this last night. Did you guys watch The Last Blockbuster?
No.
No, it's on Netflix. It's about the last Blockbuster video store, the last one in Oregon or whatever.
Oh.
And they got Lloyd Kaufman on there just because you said Trauma. Lloyd Kaufman comes on there. He's like, Blockbuster's a pile of crap, and I effing hate it. He goes, they didn't carry any of my Trauma films, and the CEO of that company's a piece of shit. And you're like, this is crazy. It's like literally Lloyd Kaufman, and they literally say it's like 1 minute and 12 seconds of him bashing Blockbuster, and you're just like,
Wayne Huizenga.
He's just killing it. Just a quick reminder for everybody: please blast the like button as well. Please like me. Unlike don't pull a Lloyd Kaufman and Blockbuster.
So wait, when did you say this? Like right now, as the last blockbuster on Earth?
They're doing this documentary, and they got Lloyd Kaufman to talk on it, and he's like,
it's like he's just kicking a dead horse. It's like it's done, dude.
Listen, he doesn't give a crap. It's like
back in the day, they were tyrannical, kind of, because they were known as like, they would come in and kill all these mom and pop operations.
Yeah.
They would edit the films. They would put in Blockbuster, like iconography and stuff in the movies. Like you watch this, like I don't remember a pile of Blockbuster video covers on this guy's table, but there they are. It was weird.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, the mom and pop thing was addressed in this documentary where basically they came in and they're like, we're going to turn you into a Blockbuster, or we're going to open one up right next to you. So you can either. And
a lot of those things survive past Blockbuster though, because I know too in my parents' area, long after Blockbuster died, they were still going. I mean, they're gone now too. But like, there's a loyalty there, and also they tended to carry like cool exotic titles, right? And like, if you wanted horror, you go to a mom and pop thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blockbuster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we wouldn't even. Okay, guys, we wouldn't even be talking because my love of like all this Japanese stuff and anime and all that. We wouldn't even be talking about that if I didn't have Video 99 next to my Video 99 had. first one I got was, I was going to call it Baby Cart or Lone Wolf and Cub, but it's really called Shogun Assassin, which is the edited movie of the first two Baby Cart Lone Wolf movies put
Right.
together. The beginning of the first one and the Three Masters of Death. Now I've got the entire Lone Wolf and Cub manga and I read it all, so it's like and I've got the Baby Cart, the proper movies on Blu-ray, and I got the TV series. But all that would not exist without Shogun Assassin being in Video 99, and also obviously watching Godzilla movies off the TV. But when I went in and I saw that Shogun Assassin, I thought, whoa, this looks really crazy. And I rented it, and I could rent anything I wanted because they didn't give a crap about how old you were. I watched every horror movie. I watched the Italian Demons movie, the Dario Argento.
Yeah.
It's actually, I can't remember if Mario Bava directed it. I can go get it. I can literally see it right there. I can go get
I think it is Mario Bava, yeah.
Yeah, but Dario Argento produced it. So
Yeah.
Mario Bava, I think, is the actual director. He's great. Mario Bava did Hercules in the Haunted World, the friggin' best Hercules movie ever. I've seen that movie 14 times easy. Anyways, we wouldn't even be having this conversation without Video 99. So it's like that entire thing like shaped me. So it's like if I went to Blockbuster, they didn't have that shit.
No.
But Blockbuster had Blockbuster movies.
Well, Video 99 was a chain too. It
For
wasn't
sure.
a big corporate thing, but maybe it was, but they were a bit loose. Like Blockbuster, I feel like they were trying to like basically change things, like like make things more moral and stuff like that. But like if you went, like there's a place called Video Sparkles, and I got, and it's just a mom and pop. I think they had 2 locations.
Right.
It's just a family owned them, and all my horror movies came from there, like The Stuff and all that stuff, and even like I own now Starfleet, which was and it was like a Japanese marionation show.
Yes,
I got that from one of those places, and I don't think that Blockbuster would have carried something fun like that, like just small, stupid, fun things that shaped my outlook, right?
They never did. They had the stuff that like everyone had, right? Right, but like they didn't have the obscure stuff. The thing about Blockbuster that was that it was more accessible. It was always in very prime central locations.
Right.
If you were near that location, like the mom and pop stores usually were like, the one near me was like connected to a Mary Brown's Chicken, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just like you could if you didn't know to look, you would miss
it.
I know where that is. Anyway.
Oh my god! All right, Spawn. Well, the Spawn cartoon, I have that, of course.
It's awesome.
And I have I also have the movie, and I had the first 40 issues, which I did sell. I sold my Spawn collection. I had number 1 to 40, never missed an issue. It's a little talky, little wordy, that comic, but the art was great, obviously. But the cartoon, they need to. I don't know what's going on with Spawn. They won. It's like Todd McFarlane always pops up. It's like, what's that thing where you hit the mallet? That Whack-A-Mole. Yeah. It's like Spawn movie, boom. And you're like, what happened? I thought there was Spawn was. It's like, no, it's coming up over here now. It's gonna be this year. No, boom. It's like, when are they gonna do something with Spawn? I have no idea.
I always laugh because like in those early issues, Todd McFarlane kept like bragging about how he had dinner with Bob Shea from
Bob Shea,
Cinema, for Spawn 2 and everything. It's like, oh, we did lunch. We talked about Spawn 2. And even as a kid, I was like, they're not making Spawn 2. Spawn 1 didn't even make that much money, so they're not doing a Spawn freaking 2. And to this day, like I know he's directing a new Spawn movie. I don't know where the hell that thing is. He interviewed about it a couple years ago, and then it's like,
yeah,
what happened to that?
I think an animated thing would just work way better for Spawn.
Yeah.
You could tell the story in a broader way. It's like,
yeah, I'd have to revisit because was there a good story there? I mean, it was all about the art, and
right.
Like and I think the best Spawn issues that I remember were more episodic, like the one with the ice cream man, Kincaid or whatever. Yeah, but the overall story arc was kind of whatever, and then they had to change it because he had a falling out with Rob Liefeld, So then, and then Melinda Clark played that character in the.
Yeah, Chapel. She played
Yeah.
Jessica Priest.
But
Well,
it
Melinda
was
Clark's my
Priest.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Chapel versus Priest.
Yeah.
So it was Jessica Priest or whatever. And then so they couldn't use because Chapel was part of Youngblood's group. I don't know what Rob like he owns all his characters, but he doesn't own Deadpool and Cable, obviously. But anything from Image, I think he kept like Prophet, all those Youngblood guys, Shaft, and all that stuff. He owns the rights to that.
Does he own Youngblood? I don't think he does.
He
Because there's a whole
may,
revival coming up, and it's not.
no, he may maybe not Youngblood, some of them, but he definitely owns Prophet. He's literally said that on his
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
And there's other characters he has as well too. But he's just jumping from literally Rob Liefeld now just jumps to whatever he feels like. He's like, oh, I always wanted to do G.I. Joe, so he did Snake Eyes.
That's cool.
And then he's like, I always wanted to do the Archie characters. He's like, so now I'm doing the Archie stuff. So it's like he's literally said, he's like, I can just do whatever I want now. He goes, I just do whatever. He goes, it's just bucket list stuff.
He's
like,
got money, man. Yeah, he doesn't care anymore.
He doesn't care. Well, anytime they use Deadpool or Cable, he's getting money.
Yeah.
So if you bought any Deadpool merch and movies or anything, you gave Rob Liefeld your money. But yeah, Spawn, I think the thing with Spawn was that like the idea was neat that he's placed on Earth and he's got time to use his powers, and then after
They
that,
look cool. Yeah.
look cool. So it's like that just seems better as an animated thing, because like a movie, it's like, what do you get? What story are you really going to like? What improvements are you going to make over the '90s movie? Because it's the same thing. It's like he dies and then he becomes Spawn. It'll just look better with CGI.
Just do a series like an HBO thing or a Netflix thing or something.
I think it would have to be HBO. I think you'd need another rated R thing going on with him because his stuff is so rated R. But I think that the crowd is there who would be interested in checking it out. I mean, when Spawn was put in as a DLC character for Mortal Kombat 11, I think that's the last one, people lost their minds. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe Spawn is going to, and he looks awesome and he's got the powers and all that.
It seems like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah. Well, and they had Keith David voice him, who is perfect as Spawn. I would like to see Spawn. I never read the comics. I saw the movie, honestly, but I would like to see Spawn revive because I do find that interesting. But again, I don't have a lot of confidence in Todd McFarlane to just seal the deal. Todd McFarlane is like one of those loose cannons who's just like, I want to do what I want to do, and if you don't want to do it like I want to do it, no one's going to do it.
That's why he's directing that movie for Blumhouse. It's like, as soon as I heard he's directing, I'm like, this thing's going to be a disaster. Like, we're going to hear stories about this for years. It's like, oh my God. Look, I would much rather see a Savage Dragon movie or something, because they had a cartoon and it was neat, but there was never a Savage Dragon movie. Yeah.
And Eric Larson has drawn
every single issue except for one.
No,
he's now mega respected.
He went back and redrew it.
Oh yeah, just so he can say.
There's 2 copies.
Yeah.
Of Savage. Well, I don't know what number it is. Whatever it is, there's 2 copies or 2 versions.
Yeah.
His art. He went back and redrew it to say that he's. So the thing with that is that now you start getting a lot of respect for that guy, because you're like, wow, he stuck it through. Tom McFarlane stopped drawing Spawn ages ago.
Look at all the other hot characters from Image. It's like, where are they? Like, there's still Spawn, but like, Jen Christian was hot for like 1 year, and it's like
Savage Dragon and Spawn were the only 2 that had any kind of idea that could last.
Yeah, like Wildcats had a whole cartoon and everything. Yeah, but it's like, what the hell was that comic about? It's like, it was fun. It was neat, I guess. It looked cool, but like, there's a lot of ideas that they could have just done an actual. If they got a real writer, they could have done like, a better thing.
The problem with the L Boys, or the Image guys, whatever you want to call them, with Tom McFarlane, so the M&L Boys or whatever, because it's all Larson, Liefeld, Lee, right? It's all L's, and McFarlane. McFarlane called them the L Boys. That's what Rob Liefeld says. He goes, "You're the L Boys." And anyways, so it's like the L Boys. It's like they all had kick-ass art, and they're like, we're gonna have better quality. I remember the pages were a little bit better. The inking.
Well, that's
seemed-
that's why we have the pages we have today. And
Yeah.
it's funny because back then we didn't think about. I didn't think about this.
No.
But like Marvel and DC were the newsprint,
Print.
and they were cheaper as a result. Image Comics came in and they were more expensive, but they were awesome. And you bought them, and they had that nice, like, that nice quality
feel.
paper. Then Marvel and DC did that, and their books went up. And
Yeah.
but the thing is, but Image sort of low key introduced that to kids.
Yeah. That's the first time I remember opening up. I was like, "Whoa, this is cool!" Like,
it seemed like that this is the next level, This
Yeah,
is
and it was
the
very
next level of
vibrant.
comics, man.
That page quality brought out a vibrance to the inking that you're like, "Whoa!" Like this, like jumped. And look, say what you want, but like Jim Lee and stuff. It's like in Atomic Front, like these big and Rob Liefeld with these big mega poses. You're like, "Whoa!" You're like, "Holy shit!" The thing is, if you go back and read it, it's kind of not really that interesting.
But it's directed at a 14-year-old, and that's what I
Right.
was. So it's like
Exactly. And I bought them all.
14-year-old boy. There you go.
Now Alan Moore took over Supreme at some point, so that may have gotten really, really interesting at that.
I liked
point.
Supreme a lot. It was great.
Yeah, I never read the Alan
and
Moore.
even Lady Supreme, even though she dressed like a stripper. But yeah.
Oh God.
Alan Moore, man.
Yeah. So I mean, but the page quality and the images really popped out. You're like, whoa, this is really cool. What was I going to say? I sent Gray Malkin a link, so I don't know if you're still listening. I sent you a private link just earlier. So if you want to come on there, you can come on there.
Will Portacio. That's the guy who breaks that formula of yours for Image. He did Wetworks and some other stuff. Yeah.
Wetworks looked cool too, man.
Was there not something called Strike Force with like a Y?
No, there's Brigade, Cyberforce.
Cyberforce, that's what I'm thinking.
I like Cyberforce. I've kept my Cyberforce comics.
Yeah, I bought that whole line of stuff, all of that stuff.
I liked it, and I've got these little miniatures, like these little PVC miniatures of all of the Cyberforce characters. It was like in one pack you got 3, and then I bought 2 of them, so I got the full collection of them.
Yeah.
So I liked it. Was Stryker, I think, was the leader of Cyberforce, so that's where you got the Y. I think Stryker was somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like he was one of the names.
Y was put it everywhere. It's like
Y and Blood.
And if something began with a C, it was a K now. It's like and listen, don't ask any questions, man.
And it was all blood, wolf blood, and blood's wolf and bloodshot.
Yeah, anything with the word dead or blood or like
something.
If you're like dead blood,
they should have called
Bloodshot. Like I know they made that movie, but Bloodshot was a typical '90s character. It's like a typical '90s name, right?
Yeah, so, Bloodshot.
Yeah,
Blood Wolf and stuff. It's like okay,
Blood Wolf with a U.
With a U. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Friggin', I saw Shadowhawk in a
Shadowhawk. I was trying to remember that guy.
Yeah. So he was in an issue of Invincible. He's one of the characters in the back. You're like, okay. But I now know all of Omni-Man's origin, which we'll talk about on when Steve catches up. So I know the Omni-Man origin is pretty wicked. it's pretty awesome. But yeah, so we're gonna watch Godzilla, and then we're gonna talk about that. And Sean, did you read Flash this week or no? I can't remember if we were gonna read that.
Most of it. I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah.
What do you mean the whole thing? It's like 20 pages or something.
I don't know. Something got distracted me, and I.
I liked it, man. I thought it was pretty neat.
It's cool, yeah.
They all lose their powers, and they're like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" So it's like literally all the speedsters lost their powers, and Wally is like, well, he starts off in this like jungle. It's like
he's
literally
in a jungle thing.
He's in
that's where I left off, and then yeah,
it's like Commandy, but he's got his so it's like he's got his speed force, but it's like dinosaurs are.
I thought that was calling back to old Flash stories. Like I remember Flash stories where he's in like a jungle area.
Yeah.
And he becomes king of like these tribes and stuff. No,
it could be. I didn't read.
I remember it's like a long time ago.
That must have been way back in.
It's pre-Crisis, and then they brought it back just after Crisis for his comics.
How does he?
What
So he
you
goes
mean
back
when it
in
was Wally West you're talking about?
That was no, it was Barry Allen.
Well, this was pre-crisis.
Yeah, old days. Yeah,
Oh God, I
Yeah.
don't know. I the only Flash comics I read was Flashpoint,
yeah.
and I read some of New 52 and some of Rebirth, and now I've got back. I actually really like Flash, but for some reason he always gets left out when I'm picking my issues.
Yeah, the old Flash stuff is really cool because it's very science fiction and it's very story oriented. I liked it a lot, and it's like an unsung. He's like an unsung hero. It's like it's cool that people keep trying to bring him back. Like he has now a successful TV series and everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, no. I don't know. I vaguely recall something like that.
It could be.
I don't
They
know if
do a
that's
lot
what
of
they're calling
Silver Age.
back to.
Like Grant Morrison always throws Silver Age crap, and Green Lantern is also the current Grant Morrison run, which just ended, was all Silver Age stuff.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like Silver Age villains that appeared in one comic, and you're like, am I supposed to remember this? Because I watched this guy's video breaking down why the new Green Lantern series wasn't doing as well as it should have. He's like, well, because it's all references to or to Silver Age Green Lantern stuff that nobody remembers. And I found
like
it so it was so odd. It's season 1 and season 2. It's just 24. I literally have every individual issue. Like I didn't miss one.
Yeah, but is it boring or is it? If it's Silver Age stuff, to me, it's fun, right?
No, it's done in a very serious,
Oh,
like weird way. Like it's
Yeah.
Grant Morrison, so it's weird.
Yeah.
The art
Mhm.
is like the art. Every picture could be like a painting. It's crazy. It's so good.
Really.
Yeah, it's so good. Gray Malkin's trying to join in.
I was gonna say, as a result of watching the Snyder cut twice, I delved back and I'm rewatching this. Galactic
Yes.
Guardians is the last Super Friends because it's that sort of like it stars Cyborg. That was his introduction, and like he's got the hoodie and everything, and he's like, I want to join you guys and everything, and it's funny because the first episode is 22 minutes. It's like they ask him to join. He's like, no, I don't want to join. I want to help these kids out and stuff. And then Darkseid comes. He wants to take over the world with these like evil seeds. He joins them in the fight. And in the end, he's like, okay, fine, I'll join you. 22 minutes. Not
Nice.
4 hours. It's
Well, listen. Obviously, that story was not told very well. Oh, Gray Malkin just dropped out. He'll be back
22 minutes. Got back 3 hours.
It's a Saturday
and
morning
13 minutes
cartoon.
of my life.
and good news. This Godzilla movie is an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I checked the time when it ended. I'm like, this is a perfect. Yeah, and you know what? The human to monster stuff is pretty balanced.
Cool.
Liked it a lot. I always pay attention to the monster story. So the monster story here is pretty cool. But
Yep.
it's kind of stupid, but like that's fine.
Well, who cares? Listen,
It's got the humanoid rules when it comes to center of the earth stuff. It's like you can zip in and out the center of the earth, even just running in like 2 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah. That's okay. I like that. Listen, look, like you got to take each movie for what it is. And look, it's called Godzilla versus Kong. I keep calling it King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is ingrained in my soul. So I'm probably gonna call it that all the time. All right, so we got Gray. Give me a thumbs up if you're good. Okay, he's just getting his thing going. Yeah. Okay, he's good. All right. How's it going?
Oh,
Hey.
You would not believe the day I've been having.
Oh dear.
How you lovely fellas doing?
We're
Sean, I
doing
love
good.
the beard.
Oh,
Man,
thank you.
You commissioner, buddy.
Yeah, Sean has scared my wife because like she hasn't seen him since pre-COVID, and so he didn't have the beard. So she walked by once and saw. She's like, "Oh my God, who's that?" I was like, "It's Sean," and she's like, "No, is that really Sean?"
I look totally. It's funny at work. My profile pic is totally different. I look like I don't have the glasses and I don't have the beard, And so when I turn my camera on to talk to someone, they're like frightened. I'm like, no, I'm not catfishing you. I'm the same dude.
You're the man who killed the real Sean and stole his
Yeah.
identity.
I axe murdered that guy.
You should do it. You should do a
And then,
cross.
like, a message from the future.
Yeah.
I've seen 2020. Run.
Yeah.
No, you should, I was gonna say you should do it. You should do like a cross on your head and be like,
Yeah.
No. Make the
blood
emoji,
coming out from it.
make it like a happy face emoji. Totally current. Totally current.
or you could do the King in Black, the null, the spiral, or whatever.
The spiral.
Oh, hey man, you're
Yeah.
gonna love this. I started watching Superman. I
Oh,
started.
nice. Did you
like-
like it?
All right, I'm halfway through it. I like it. Okay, I think Lois Lane's a little mean, like unnecessarily mean. Like she's she's done everything except punch him in the face.
Right.
No, but like I like Perry White, and I like
He's good.
the that whole scene where Clark was like running right next to the train, and that little kid
Yeah.
saw it. I'm like, all right, I've never seen this movie, so I'm like, right now.
Yeah. It's
And-
all. It's great. I mean, obviously, it's all of our. I don't know. We're talking about Superman 1, Part 1.
Yeah.
It's my childhood. It's our childhood.
Yeah, it's our
so,
childhood. I mean, I saw 2 and 3. I don't remember if I saw 4 in the theater for some reason.
I didn't see 4 in the theater. At that point, it was petering out. 2 and
Yeah.
3 definitely.
Which
Definitely,
one?
yeah.
The one with Richard Pryor.
Part
3.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So if you
Yeah.
when you get to so the first one you want to watch the 3-hour version because it's just I want the most Chris Freed you can get.
Right.
The second one, the Lester cut has better. The scenes that are in the Lester cut versus the Donner cut are better, but the scenes that are missing from the Lester cut, it's tough because the Donner cuts has missing scenes that are really fantastic.
Mhm.
But I don't like some of the takes. Like there's
Yeah,
some lines
yeah.
that were changed, and Sean already is smiling.
Yeah, I know.
and I
There's
know
a
the
great
line-
line that was
there's a
cut
great
right now.
line.
It's like, that was this movie. What the
Movie.
hell?
But
Yeah.
but in any case, watch the Lester version first because that's sort of the regular movie, and then the Donner cut you can watch because the Donner cut uses the same ending as Superman 1, and it was like I don't like the way they did they used it, but that was what they weren't going to use it for Part 1. They were going to use it for Part 2, but it just seems weird now.
See,
But like Zod
see?
is awesome.
see, this is exactly why I didn't get into Blade Runner because there are like 6 different versions of the
I know. Okay, so Blade
Great.
Runner.
and like, great,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch the same movie again. Like,
Ah,
Justice
So
League.
okay, so Blade Runner. What's everyone? I have all the versions. I have the briefcase, the Blade
Yeah.
Runner briefcase. Remember that limited edition briefcase that gave you everything?
Yeah.
So, and then I bought it on Blu-ray. I think director's cut's the one where they're saying he's not a replicant.
Okay.
That's the one I like. If it like Harrison Ford is not a replicant. That is stupid garbage.
Well,
I've
he
read.
is in the sequel.
I know.
Well, that's
I
popular.
don't like that.
That's That's what the that's what they
Well,
what the ones with money like they're the ones. Yeah, it's
Yeah, like I read the story. I
Yeah.
love Philip K. Dick. I've read a lot of Philip K. Dick stuff.
yeah.
Total Recall, or We Can Remember It For You Wholesale is the story. That's a cool. So it's like I read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and yeah, I'm getting them. I read it, and I'm like, okay, he's not a replicant. Like, period. Like that's not
Isn't the movie Minority Report connected to one of those movies? Like
Minority Report is Philip K. Dick as well. I don't know if it's connected to that.
Oh,
I didn't read Minority Report, but she did. She's read everything.
right. It was my first Tom Cruise movie that I
love
did.
Wow.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is awesome. Have you seen A Few Good Men?
Okay, I saw that recently. Okay, I'm kind of getting back into it. Okay, I forgot how awesome he was in the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially 3. 3's the best one. Like,
Oh no way! We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna fight. We're gonna have a
No.
fight.
no, okay.
Or-
'cause Philip Seymour Hoffman is the scariest villain. He was tied up and he was saying like, "Do you have somebody you love? Because I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna find her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like." That is scary.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is awesome, but like 4, 5, and 6 is more like the real Mission Impossible like where it's got the team and everyone has a purpose. Like
Yeah,
three,
Paula Patton again.
sorry,
She's awesome.
oh, Pat, she's awesome. Yeah, no, like 3, it felt like the team was there as accessories. Like Maggie Q was there. I'm like, what does she do? Drive? Like Maggie Q, she's awesome.
She's
But,
awesome.
yeah, like all right, more people. Okay, I'm just gonna say this: Maggie Q would make an amazing Quanon.
Yes. Agreed.
Yes,
That'd be the
Like,
best.
put like, all right, guys, all right. I know you guys aren't X-Men guys, but check this out. This is the way I would do it. I would have Maggie Q be Quanon, like they're playing, like, and then I would get Gemma Chan. You guys ever she's an Asian actress who was in okay, did you guys ever watch Doctor Who?
I've seen everything.
Okay, I'm sorry. The Thanksgiving episode for the 10th Doctor.
Yep.
Yeah, her. She was also in Captain Marvel, in the Captain Marvel movie. She was in
What's the actress's name?
Gemma Chan.
I've heard the name. I just can't picture her.
I would have her.
Oh yeah. You know who she is? She's Minerva from Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. And she was in Humans, this TV show Humans.
Comic books, TV, movies. It blends together to me. I see casting everywhere.
Oh yeah, no. Maggie Q would be awesome as Quanon.
Right.
That'd be sick.
It'd be a very nuanced performance. Like it'd be so. Oh man, I'm going crazy thinking about it.
I mean, like you're watching Superman for the first time. Like literally, when I show that to people, we're watching it on 65-inch with the sound cranked the shit up. I remember my niece and nephew were watching, and my nephew turned to me. He's like, "Wow, this is good sound." Because at their place, they watch on this TV, which is a bigger screen TV, but they have it way up high. Like my TV is like 5 feet away from you, and it's 65 inches. So it's like, holy crap! And then when I pump when that, and you're like, holy crap! This is the best. Like they watched Superman 3 just right. I think when this next round of lockdowns went away, they came and we watched Superman 3 because we were watching them in order, and they're not thinking there's cheesy parts, or they're just like, this is the damn best. And when Superman was turning evil, holy shit, they're like, oh shit. Like
hearing about that part. I'm like, I want to see the build up to it.
Oh, it's and because Christopher Reeve is such a nice person.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and it's like he's getting drunk and stuff. And well, he's not drunk because he's just drinking and like flicking the nut. And you're like, oh shit, this guy's messed up. It's really mad. And the funny thing is that his costume when he's evil is still brighter than the Zack Snyder costume.
So cold.
Whatever.
Leave that alone, okay? He's been through enough.
we're not gonna go there. Okay. But yeah, Superman. Oh, and like I love Superman. It's not exactly the comics, but it's awesome. And Zod and Ursa and Non in part 2 are like General Zod.
I wish they stopped bringing in Zod in the first movie. Like he doesn't need to be the first villain. Like
I know now because they don't know anybody else. They only know Zod because of Terrence Stamp, and they only know Luthor because that's the one everyone knows. It's like, where's anybody else? Brainiac, Metallo,
Mongol,
Mongol. My God, Mongol. Can you imagine that?
Lobo.
Oh my God, Lobo.
Yeah.
You could right like.
Why is there a better logo in Smallville than anything else? Is
the
like
Krypton logo.
Krypton.
Lobo and Krypton looked pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, what was the one that just came out? Was it Man of Tomorrow or no? What was the latest animated one?
Yeah, Man of Tomorrow, right?
Is that the one with do you have it there, Sean? With Parasite on the cover, or like that? That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Why don't they just make? Yeah, why don't they just make that?
Well, you know,
like make that the movie. Make that right there, live action.
J-Man, I've been telling you for the longest, they should take all their animated stuff and just make it live action.
Yeah.
Don't care. Okay. Go for the R. I don't care. Go for it.
Well, take those creative teams. I don't understand Warner Brothers. It's like they've always kept their TV and their film and their animation and everything else separate from each other. And it's like, you own these things. If you have success with Batman the Animated Series, etc., then take those creative teams and say, you know what, guys, we're giving you the keys to the kingdom. Make a live action thing. It's like, make a writer's room for it, perhaps. You know, I don't understand the problem here. There is no problem. It's just that they're not utilizing their resources.
Yeah, you're right. Make Bruce Timm head of production.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, give him a blank check.
Yeah.
And like just leave him, just like, you know what? I'm gonna leave him in the house for a few months. See what happens.
Yeah, they've got that big brother.
See how weird he gets.
They keep everything separate. Like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing.
It's weird.
And then you got all and people are confused too. Like general public don't know what the hell's going on. And that Marvel, for better or worse, everyone knows what's going on. Right now, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yay, everyone's talking about that. And
they took the time though.
They took the time.
No, like, because all right, you guys, you remember it was 2008. We were a year after a really bad Spider-Man and Fantastic Four movie, a double whammy. That hurt.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, they took the time to place all the
and they didn't place unreasonable expectations on them too. It's like they made their money back. It's a hit, right?
Yep.
It's like Warner Brothers is like, well, we didn't make $1 billion with Man of Steel. Literally, that was their bellwether.
Right.
And they're like, we only made $700 million worldwide. You only did that. No other movie's doing that.
Wow.
And they're like, I guess we won't make a sequel to this. It's like, what are you doing you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like, what's happening?
And Sean, what movies came out at the same time? Was it Avengers and Man of Steel, or there was the two that were very close to each other?
Avengers is 2012.
When was
I
Man
don't
of
think that's
Steel?
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel came out 2013.
Man of Steel's 2013?
Yeah, I think that the Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises is around the same time as Avengers.
Yeah,
right.
Like that,
but they're completely separate. I mean, Nolan's movies, you can't really
different.
this town book.
Yeah, no.
Man of Steel's the year after Avengers.
Yeah, so these are all around each other. So they're like, oh, well, Man of Steel is a failure because it didn't make as much as.
But that's
it's like, what are you talking about? It's like
between
Avengers
2008 and 2000. Yeah, between 2008 and 2012, Marvel built their brands. And it's like people made fun of Thor till the Thor movie came out. People made fun of Captain America till the Captain America movie came out. And people were like, they'll never make an Avengers movie and it'll never make any money because no one knows what Avengers are. They built that brand. They made a movie. They called it Avengers. People saw it. It made $1 billion. And so Warner Brothers, I think, felt, well, everyone knows what Superman is, right? So that'll make $1 billion too, right? It's like they don't understand that, like, sure, Superman is known, but what about your Superman?
Right.
You need to reintroduce him. And then it made $700 million. That's great. That's more than the Marvel movies up to that point, except for Avengers. But it's like they placed unreasonable expectations. And then they're like, oh, well, let's not make a sequel.
But the thing about sorry for cutting you off.
Go ahead, Gray.
The thing about it is, at the end of the day, the early Marvel movies, aside from being comic book movies, they were good movies.
Yeah,
I mean, Iron Man. Like, if you didn't know that was a comic book, you'd be like, wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is like, I mean, and I know Sean, when you say we made fun of Thor, I was scared for Thor because Asgard, it's a big concept.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's really big, and they managed, and it worked. DC's problem is that they're scared. They have all this stuff, and they want to be Marvel, but they gotta be the anti-Marvel. They gotta be swearing. They gotta have, seriously, we gotta see Suicide Squad. We also gotta see Red Hood. They're like, go for the hard R. Kids, like, don't go for the kids, go for the adults. The kids will come later.
Yeah. And people say, oh, they should have a Kevin Feige and all that. They have a Kevin Feige, Bruce Timm. But, I mean, partner him up with a film producer, perhaps, if you're squeamish about having an animation producer, like, jump into that role. But he knows the characters. He knows how to bring them to life as screen presences.
and Filoni, Dave Filoni, is coming out of Clone Wars and all that other stuff, and there's a guy who's an animation only guy,
Right.
and literally him and Favreau. That's the only whatever they're producing is literally the only Star Wars that anyone gives
Right.
a shit about. Honestly,
Rebels was great, but like Resistance wasn't. And I know Filoni was sort of involved, but not really.
but not
Right.
Yeah.
right. And I don't know about Bad Batch. I don't know if we all watched the trailer.
I'm gonna
But,
watch that, man. It looks
Yeah.
cool.
So I mean, I don't know. Is that Filoni or not?
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
I'm definitely going to check it out because it looks like a Clone Wars ish kind of a thing or whatever. And is Sean, are you checking? I can see.
Yeah.
Sean's the Oracle or whatever. It's like he'll check. Yeah, and I mean, like, this is a no-brainer. But the other thing too is like you have to choose an audience then, because if you want to be Marvel and get everybody, then you're gonna have to make it like, for me personally, I don't like the dark take on any of these characters because it's Superman and he should be the brightest character. Like, if a Superman movie is rated R, to me, that is not Superman. And it's just like, and I think for regular people, they're like, I don't know. That's my problem. Do Suicide Squad rated R. Do the weird characters, you know what I mean? But Superman needs to be for everybody. Batman has be rated R.
Yeah, I think with DC, all right. Also with what you just said, okay, no, you don't need a darker take on Superman. Let him be like. There's certain characters who don't do well in the darkness, so just keep them like, keep them PG-13. Like have Superman go on space adventures.
Yeah,
either do like let him show the
The problem is that each character could actually represent a genre, right? Superman is the family-friendly, adventure-ish, sci-fi adventures because he fights aliens.
Right.
Batman's like the film noir, thriller, suspense. Plastic Man is your comedy. You want your R-rated stuff, and it's still that's Justice League Dark. Make Justice League Dark.
Right.
Get Constantine and all those guys. Get Matt Ryan because he's just perfect as Constantine.
He's great.
And get him with get cast as Zatanna and whatever, and get Deadman. Get a Deadman character, and there's your rated R. Like Constantine has to be rated R, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that DC.
They're afraid.
More so than I think Marvel is you can go in multiple directions at once, right? Disney owning Marvel from a tone perspective is perfect because all the Marvel, it all fits.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think Marvel needed Disney. They could have done all this by themselves.
Oh, they didn't. But like they get more resources with Disney. That's the thing.
I mean, they were doing it before Disney.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like we saw Iron Man. That was a huge hit. And then Disney announced it, 2010 or something?
And that sounds right to me.
Yeah, around the time Iron Man 2 came out.
Yeah.
2009, I bought Iron Man 2, wasn't it?
No, it came out
2010, sorry.
Right. I'm just trying to keep it straight.
No, it's tough because I've even tried to go over it in my mind and I can't get it straight. But DC, I think more than Marvel, you can go in all those different directions, right? But they're not. They're just. It's all one note. It's the same. Like they're trying to emulate Marvel, and I don't think you go down that path. I think you do the anti-Marvel.
Yes, exactly. Go for the hard, but on certain cases,
in certain cases, you give them a little bit more variety.
But I don't think anti-Marvel is the way to go because that's what they've been doing. That's what they've been doing. You go by the characters. That's what you do.
Sean, you're a bastard. I was gonna say go by the characters, and you said it first.
No, but that anti-Marvel is exactly what they did, and guess what? No one liked it. It's like they made a Justice League movie that made nothing.
You're forgetting about Shazam. Shazam was amazing.
After they came to their senses.
Okay.
Aquaman and Shazam are of a different ilk. because I feel like
Trash.
after they lost their shirts with Justice League, they made like these family friendly things all of a sudden, right? So yeah.
Okay, with DC. Okay, here's what you do. You don't have a Batman movie. You don't have a Wonder Woman movie. You don't have a Superman movie. Here's what you do. You have them be supporting characters in other people's movies. You introduce Supergirl. You introduce Robin or Night. Actually, no, forget that. Nightwing.
Oh,
No,
right.
Dick Grayson is due a movie. Actually, he's due a few movies.
He's due a few movies for sure.
Yeah.
I
And
think
also-
with yeah,
Oh,
go
go
ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Like Dick Grayson would be so fun to
Mhm.
do. Like you could still do all the Bloodhaven stuff, but like show that he's a little sarcastic. Have him make a couple cracks about Batman. Like I don't live in a cave.
Right.
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
crack on him a little bit. That's what Dick Grayson does in the books.
yeah, they do. They should do something with Nightwing for sure. Okay, my thing is that the big three, there needs to be movies because that's your bread and butter people. That's your Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, whatever.
You know, there's
Then you have ones in between. So you do your Batman movie, and then the next one can be a Robin, like Nightwing. Then the next one could be Superman, and then the next one could be Supergirl, and the next one could be Wonder Woman, and you can kind of do it that way, and then you have like a spin-off of that character, and then you throw in every so often, you throw in one of these Justice League Darks, where like, ooh, this is like a little bit more adult or whatever.
the animated series, basically. What the
Yeah,
people animated.
The problem with this Justice League thing, and we keep harping on it, well, I keep harping on it too, is that it's like it's not the Justice League. It's like they're all together on this poster. There's no shots where they're all together fighting. It's like they team up and do little things here and there. It's like, where is them all together? And someone told me, I had a discussion with someone at the comic shop. They're like, well, they're not the Justice League yet. Well, why is it called Justice League? It's like this movie was called The Avengers. I sat down and I saw the Avengers all team up, fight people. And I'm like, this is awesome. All these characters have teamed up to fight. Justice League, they're still not, well, they don't get along. They haven't worked well together. Well, why is this called Justice League? They should have called it Dawn of Justice. And at the very end, they're going to say like, right? Like when they called it Batman versus Superman, they should have just left it at Batman versus Superman. This movie could have been called The Dawn of Justice. And then at the very end, they're like, yay. So when the next thing comes, we'll all fight together as a cohesive team. But they're calling it Justice League. There's a poster where they're all staying together. That does not happen in the movie. Secondly, if Batman and Superman look the same, we have a problem. Thirdly, if a Justice League movie is rated R, we have a problem. It's like Super Friends is still to this day, people are like, oh, remember Super Friends? That was so cool. And they didn't remember it because Superman was killing people.
Yeah.
They didn't remember it because Superman was killing people and Wonder Woman was decapitating heads. It's like they remember it because it was all of their favorite superheroes together in one show. You know, when I was a kid, I used to think, why isn't Spider-Man on this team? That's weird. And I was like, well, I guess Spider-Man has his own cartoon, so maybe he's not on this team. Before you start to realize as you get older, like, oh, they're different companies. It's like, I want to see the Justice League all fighting together. The real characters that I care about, not this guy's interpretation of it or the dark versions. It's like, and if generic people want the same thing, they're going to remember Super Friends, or they're going to remember, Superpowers, or whatever they happen to remember, or Justice League, the animated series, or, and they're like, well, that's not Justice League, the animated series. This just looks like a bunch of people killing other people with superpowers. It's like, yeah, I know, that is what it is. And then it's like, well, why aren't people dying over this? Yeah, you have the adults who are the serious people dying over it. Yeah, but unfortunately, the comics don't reflect that, so they're not buying comics. They're not going to buy toys or merchandise or shirts. It's like kids buy toys, merchandise, shirts. It's like they brought out those Justice League figures. It's like, well, who's going to buy them? Like a few adults who are going to put them on a shelf like me. It's like the kids aren't. If kids aren't buying these toys, you're not selling them. It's the same thing with Star Wars. Nobody cares what anybody knew. It's like a Luke Skywalker figure comes out, everyone buys it. A Rey figure comes out, nobody buys it. Although I bought it because I have tons of Rey figures down here.
have we been keeping up? Sorry, go on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm with you. I feel like when they shouldn't have called it Justice League. They should have called it Dawn of Justice. Actually, a few times they should have had some more like ambitious titling. Like Wonder Woman, she was not called Wonder Woman. It should have been just called Diana. Like that would have been a bold choice.
That
No,
would have been bold.
like they need to stop trying to. They need to stop. That's something I don't like about movies. When you throw a 2 on something, it cheapens it. I want the sequel movie to be standalone as its own movie, but it's still a continuation of the story. All right, and we've seen it done. I mean, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That's a great sequel, but
Yeah,
it's
and they've
not,
done it
not
right.
Captain America 2.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, I'm sorry.
Have we been keeping up with the like I watched most of these the DC animated movie universe? It's like from 2013 to 2020. It starts
every
with
Superman.
Flashpoint Paradox and goes on until Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which actually is kind of the end game of that whole thing. Like lots of people die, so it's 16 movies. It's great to watch through. That is a case for a dark DC universe. I'm looking here. The only standalone Superman thing was the death of Superman and Reign of the Superman. The other
those.
stuff was mostly Superman starring in Justice League stuff,
Right.
like
Yeah.
Throne of Atlantis and stuff like that. Those are cool. But the thing is, like they were left to their own devices. They made this whole universe of movies, 16 of them. There's more movies than just that, but these are all in one continuity.
Yeah.
And the
I-
Batman they have here is with Damian Wayne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the issues is that once you start pumping money in, like we're gonna spend 200 million,
Yeah,
you need to get,
and you get more and more generic, and you take less risks.
Right, because you
Unless
need a
you're
family.
Marvel. But anyway,
You need, but you
Seriously.
need the family. You need the whole family to go and spend $100 at the theater. It's like mom,
But-
dad, and the 2 kids. And mom, dad, and 2 kids aren't going to go watch Justice League for 4 hours and watch Wonder Woman decapitate people.
I know, but like how you handle that is up to you, and it's a test of your mettle. It's like, listen, Marvel had a movie where they killed every hero. Marvel had a movie where nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. Like they had no idea who these characters were. Marvel had Thor. Marvel had characters that are now big names, but weren't when they poured money into them.
Yes, you can handle. But that's because they gave us the characters that we liked first. And
but what I'm saying is they took risks and reaped the rewards, and other studios are not willing to do that. Like Warner Brothers is too generic a studio to do something like that. It's like, let's make a Justice League movie where they kill everybody. Is not something they would have said before Endgame, or something like that, right?
Sean, I think you're forgetting Warner Brothers is old money. Like,
yeah.
I don't mean it like I don't mean it like in the money. I mean in like they have old fashioned ways.
Ways of thinking.
Business.
Like that's why they keep all their stuff separate and not create synergy like a normal person would do.
Yeah, they've seen how Harry Potter works, and like that's all interconnected, and that work. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's a better.
That's Warner Brothers, and I love they set the trend with like cutting a movie in half.
Yeah,
they're like, we'll make money twice over. It's like, and that's totally what happened. So
yeah. But the problem is that they don't actually understand why a movie works, right? Yeah. Like the Nolan movies, everyone, loved them, and they made like zillions of dollars or whatever the hell they made, and everyone's like, okay, this is how superhero movies should be made. Well, no, this was a specific situation made by a particular filmmaker.
No.
This doesn't mean we all go and take his vision and just make it for everything. Right, but these guys have a very monkey see, monkey do sort of mentality, right? Where they're like, "Oh, this is how we do things from now on." Superman's dark because Batman was dark, and Christopher Nolan's
he is 300, but sure,
right. The guy who made Watchmen and Sucker Punch and 300 does not seem like the person to make Superman, like at all. That's like the opposite.
The guy who made the first X-Men films couldn't do.
Bryan Singer was brutal.
But you could tell he was really trying. No, I can't.
Make it trying to what? Or the audience? Like if that was his attempt, he succeeded. That movie's
somebody told
like. You
I
do
felt
that
bad
to someone as punishment. You showed them that as punishment. If you hate the
X-Men 1
flight,
I
you
don't
should watch
fault
the
them
Batman
for because
Returns.
they didn't have any faith in that movie, and they gave him a really, like, it's $60 million or less than that or something. It's not that much money.
No.
X-Men 2 is what you have to give him credit for. But then beyond that, I don't think he understood the characters that much.
No,
No,
he
no,
didn't.
You know, like Apocalypse is a mess.
Well,
Yes. Go ahead, Gray.
with the Singer early X-Men movies, they're really good adaptations of Chris Claremont's work, and that's what everybody knows. If you only know Chris Claremont stuff, like this is cool, but
Yeah, I wanted more like a generic. I don't want to say generic, but like I want the characters first, and I want it to feel like the characters. If you take all 80 years of Wonder Woman, what would Wonder Woman symbolize or whatever, Superman or whatever. It's like instead of just saying I'm literally adapting this particular comic, it's like the Dark Knight series. It's like, well, let's have Batman be realistic. The more realistic you make him, the more silly he becomes. It's like, well, why does he have horns? Why does he have a cape? Why does he have a symbol? Wouldn't he just be all in black Kevlar armor and fight guys? Like, it's like at some point in time you've lost what Batman is, and that's not true to the character. But the Dark Knight series people liked because it was sort of that I kind of secretly like comics, but I don't want people to know that I like comics. So this movie makes it seem cool. So yeah, that's why I like it.
plus
And that's my it's like that. Yeah, that's my problem. It's not with the movies themselves. It's with the fans who don't want to pretend they like real comics. It's like, well, I like the dark, gritty stuff. It's like, I don't want this losery Superman saving people. What, you don't want humanity to be saved?
No.
Well, no. It's like, okay, it's just dumbass crap. I can't stand jock mentality, and I've gone through this my whole life where it's like I like superheroes and people thought I was a loser for liking it. Now I'm less of a loser, except I've become a loser because I like the movies where the superheroes behave like superheroes and save the day, which is what they're supposed to do. I don't want to watch, if I want to watch a vigilante guy go around killing people, then I'll watch Punisher. And I love Punisher. I have a Punisher statue up there. It was a $200 statue. I've got busts. It's like Punisher's. I got Olive War Journal. Like,
he's very problematic for me.
but that's the character. He kills whatever, right? Like if Batman is walking. They did a Funko Pop. There's a Funko Pop coming out of Batman with a machine gun, and it's from the Nightmare sequence in Zack Snyder's. Like, this is Batman with a machine gun, except for the early issues of Bob Kane / Bill Finger. The very early on issues with the Batman having a sidearm or whatever, which they got rid of. Look, if you start saying, well, in the comics this happened, the second someone tells me that this happened in the comics, I feel like punching them in the face. It's like, okay, well, in the comics, Superman had a mullet. Do you want him to always have a mullet then? Like, what are you talking about? In Superman comics, he was also electric blue like energy. So do you want that? Like, don't tell me it happened in the comic. Comics have been around for 80 years. It's like things have changed up and down in order for it to keep it interesting and to change it up every so often. But that's not what the character is. Batman had a gun for a little bit, but he doesn't carry around guns and shoot people. It's absolutely crazy. Even the Dark Knight, which is dark, Batman didn't have a gun shooting the Joker, shooting people. Sean, there's a Funko Pop of Batman with a machine gun.
Why? Why is that? Is it an iteration of Batman?
No, it's this nightmare scene from
Does he have a machine gun in that? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
You saw it twice.
I can't remember that part, man.
Oh my god.
Well, that Joker part's the worst of that entire
awful,
movie, man.
That's
okay. Just Jared Leto's just a horrible actor.
He's bad.
I don't.
No.
I think he's a good actor, but they give him such nonsense to work with.
Yeah.
His choices are pretty bad.
His best movie was when he was being beaten by Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
That was a good movie. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
I will say that was a good movie.
What about Alexander? I thought he was really good in Alexander.
He was also good in, wasn't he in Blade Runner 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fine in that. That was all right.
I agree. Mostly I will not pick on the actor because I pick on the director because they allowed those choices to make it to the screen. If Ashton Kutcher is not right to play Superman, don't cast him to play Superman.
Sure.
And if you do cast him to make Superman, try not to make him look like an idiot playing Superman. I know it'll probably be hard, but try not to. Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't blame the actor's just the tool to get it across. There are better actors than others, obviously.
Sure.
But like, generally, unless they're like, I don't know, you took them as an underwear model or whatever, they went through some sort of training. Like, they're okay. Like, they're probably just not being utilized properly.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, you're right. Or if you get Ashton Kutcher to be Superman, you better show us why.
Well, we were going to have Nicolas Cage.
Like,
We were going to have Nicolas Cage as
Oh,
Superman.
yeah.
Listen, yeah, no. If I'm better looking than the guy playing Superman, we got a problem.
No, you gotta be better looking than Clark Kent. That's not,
Yeah, I don't think Nicolas Cage is not Superman. That's for sure.
no, he's super maniac.
Yeah.
It's weird that he's the sober version of Charlie Sheen.
Charlie
Thank God
Sheen.
that's
Well, if John Peters had his way, Sean Penn would have been Superman.
Oh God!
No way. That's brutal.
But
I'm
he's got
fine
the
with
eyes of
Henry
a killer.
Cavill. I'm actually fine with the casting of the Snyder characters, except
Yeah.
for Ezra Miller, who I just feel is weird.
Yeah.
The others I'm fine with. I like Cyborg. He was cool. Like he was all right.
We're talking Justice League, right?
Justice League, yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
No,
Oh, that's
yeah.
awful.
That's the
That's
worst
awful.
one.
That's the worst one.
Really?
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was digging it. I was like, okay, he's finally getting confidence in himself. Like, you gotta understand, this is the beginning for Lex Luthor. We're seeing him become that evil genius.
But see, I don't
No.
want the beginning of him becoming anything. I want Lex Luthor proper to fight the proper Superman, not the Superman who doesn't want to save people and the Lex Luthor who doesn't know what he wants to do either. Like, I'm done with all that. I'm not waiting 14 movies in to get somebody. It's like Iron Man became Iron Man in the first half of the movie. He came back. He's Iron Man. He makes the suit. He goes and fights people. That's what I want. Captain America was Captain America right away. He got training, got the serum, and now he's Captain America. It's like, why am I waiting 35 movies down the line? Oh, eventually he'll become I just want normal Lex Luthor. And
I might not make it 35 movies.
Who would you get to be Lex Luthor?
I don't know.
In
Right.
the 90s, when they were talking about Superman, I wanted Michael Ironside as Lex
Oh,
Luthor. Like
Really?
90s Michael Ironside, yeah. But
Oh.
nowadays,
Starship Troopers?
yeah, man, he's
Yeah, but
awesome.
he's awesome. Well, Gray Malcolm doesn't know this, but like we're hardcore Michael Ironside people. Like Michael Ironside's brother was what was he to you?
He's a substitute teacher in my class.
Yeah.
He writes his name on. He's like Mr. Ironside. I'm like, what? Like Michael? He's like, yeah, he's my brother. I'm like, what? I just
Yeah.
talked to the entire class about Michael Ironside. It was
And like Scanners is like probably the best film ever made.
Yeah,
ever.
I mean, we grew up with this serious face and everything, man.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
great.
yeah, like V, like he was the best character in
Oh,
V, right? So
V.
in the original V.
Visiting Hours. He
Oh.
was the villain
Was
in
he,
Visiting
was
Hours.
he
It was awesome.
Darkseid in the Superman animated series?
He was the
Yes,
voice.
yes,
So
he
he
was
was the
the
voice,
voice.
yeah.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with Darkseid.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Because, like, you need an authoritarian. He has that
Yeah.
voice for, like,
Yeah.
bring them
He
to.
was good for the
It would have
voice,
been
yeah.
a good one. Would have been the guy who was actually the villain in Shazam, Mark Strong.
Strong.
He would have
Yeah,
been
he's-
really good.
Good as playing villains.
But
Like,
yeah, he's
Yeah.
good playing villains. But
He
he's
was
like
Sinestro.
taller. I've seen him bald. He's got that authoritarian manner about him. He seems to be a decent actor.
oh
But
no, he's a
unfortunately,
really
like,
good actor. Like, he's really good.
but
Yeah, he's the
been in,
villain
like,
in Kick-Ass. He's
Yeah.
the villain in Kick-Ass. He's the villain in Shazam. He's the
And
What
villain.
about Bryan Cranston?
Yeah, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston would be terrifying.
Yeah, that'd
Like,
be
he was
good.
like Walter White, just really leveled up in the world.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
He's like, I am he who knocks. What the? and that'll just be on his door. I am he who knocks.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston would be good.
Bryan Cranston would be good.
But he was Zordon. Now he can't be a villain
Yeah.
anymore. 'cause
Like
he was
modern Billy Zane.
Oh,
Yeah.
Modern Billy
Billy-
Zane would have been good.
Billy Zane would make a really good Clayface.
Oh
Zordon.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, he looks
Yeah.
like Clayface, so you.
Well, no, I mean, like, just the whole actor thing. Like he can really portray that. Does he still look the same, or has his face gone? Is
He's old and beaten up looking now.
okay to get somebody.
He
To,
could do. Clayface needs to. Oh man, he needs to get into a movie or something. Like,
seriously.
what
Yeah.
is happening with the Batman?
There's only one
Like,
live action Clayface, and that's the dude from that old Birds of Prey series.
Oh, that's rough.
Like in
Wait.
the last episode. Do you remember that?
Oh yes.
It was like he was the
yes.
father of the modern Clayface or whatever. And,
I have that
Yeah.
series, but they changed the theme song. They didn't have the rights to
Yeah.
it. That really.
Oh yeah,
That
That
theme
was a
song was
fail.
killer. That was a great theme song for that
Yeah.
show.
All right, Bruce Campbell for Clayface.
Bruce Campbell can play anybody. He could play Batgirl, and I'd be like,
Hey, as long as Glenn Close is Batman, I'm in.
oh, that'd be so good.
I didn't like seriously. I want it. There's a reality where that happened. And either it went really, really well, or it went really, really bad.
What if you did now? If they're doing Flashpoint, would they get a female to play Joker, and who would be the female if they did because they implied that Martha became sort of like a Joker-ish character. That'd be interesting. You got Glenn Close or something to be like.
Okay, for Flashpoint, I'm imagining that they would keep keep Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne, and keep the actress who played his mother, who was actually Maggie from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's what's her name?
Lauren Cohen.
Lauren
Cohen.
Cohen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
that would be interesting. She could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She could do it. Did
I
you
was
guys see the
gonna
boy?
set up.
yeah.
She was
She's
in that
in
movie.
The Boy.
She was in the boy.
She was in Supernatural.
Yeah.
I didn't see Boy 2, but like, how is there another kid living?
Yeah, I was about to
Like,
ask about that. How's there another boy?
this is one of these things where it's like, God, stop it. Like,
I didn't even know they made a Void too.
Yeah, they did.
Boy, yeah, the Boy 2, yeah. So
Oh,
it's
They
like
call it boys.
oh,
the
the
boy.
boy.
Boys.
the
He's
boy, yeah, not
Void.
Void.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
Void.
no,
The
Sean,
boy
you're
too.
talking-
Okay, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that guy's movie. His latest one is Psycho Gorman.
Oh,
Okay.
I saw that.
I didn't see it yet.
It's
It
kind of
looks great. Yeah.
the little girl is really mean.
Okay. Yes.
It's really abrasive.
Yeah. That's. So that guy made a lot of really cool. I think he made The Void. He made
Psycho
the editor.
Gorman. Looks
Yeah,
freaking
Sean-
awesome. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
Sean, let me know privately if you're looking for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You know I'm good. So anytime
Yeah.
drink to that. No.
Yeah, who is this guy? The
You
director.
know him. He's made
Steve
tons of.
Kostansky.
My God,
Huh.
Sean, he made Manborg.
Oh yeah,
We-
okay.
Dude,
Well, he's leveled up since
dude,
then.
we met him.
Yeah.
We met him at a toy show. Do you remember this? Has
I
this
vaguely recall.
dude, we met him at a toy show in Canada. They
Yeah.
were selling the Manborg merchandise there.
This guy looks great. You met him. What?
Yeah, but that's a mega level up because Manborg is it looks like it was made in this guy's like living room or something.
Yeah, and we met
Yeah.
the guy who made it.
Yeah.
The thing is like Sean and I have gone to so many shows that it's literally just like a blur. Like, and the thing is, it's like, yeah, and it's like, so it's like we because we met all these guys before they became anything. And
Yeah.
I remember the guy, and they're like, "Oh, from the director of Manborg." I'm like, "Oh my God, this guy's going somewhere!" and like all of a sudden, it's like he's making these pumped up movies. I was like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "It's the Manborg guy," and I'm thinking I should have bought the comic when he offered it to me because I was like, "Yeah, I'll pass." Because they made this Manborg comic, and I passed on it. I'm like, "Yeah, it looks."
Oh, that's too funny, man.
yeah,
I
we
just
met
love
him.
how I just love how Sean's like, oh, this is it's like you met him. It's like,
Yeah, we met him. We met him at Sean and I used to sell at toy shows, and we have a pretty vast collection. As you can see, some of my stuff in the back, but we have like so we used
Yeah,
to
I don't
sell.
flaunt it like Jake
gotta-
does, rubbing
Yeah.
everyone's face. But
Yeah, like Sean, like I've got almost all the vintage Star Wars, almost all the vintage He-Man. Sean's got all the. Do you have all the vintage Star Wars or no?
not all the vintage Star Wars.
I have-
I'm going more for play sets
Vehicles.
and vehicles.
Yeah, I don't have any of those. I have the twin cloud car, which everyone has that, but like whatever.
I've got all
yeah,
the Hoth toys right
the
now.
hot. Yeah, I'd love to get
Um,
the hot stuff. That'd be
yeah.
great.
I'm really liking that Quicksilver Funko.
yeah,
I have
I
two
keep
of
looking
those.
at that
Right.
over his shoulder.
Right. What is it? I'm like, I
Oh,
wonder
there he is. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
That's
Wanda and
hilarious.
Vision. But yeah, no, oh yeah, tons of stuff.
you can't keep a man or children. That's why you have to change the world the way you see it. Classic.
She's great.
It's just, I don't know. I just like I like griping on Wanda because she's
Oh, Wanda's great.
Wanda is great.
yeah, when she's not being a self-hating mutant or
Well-
blaming her dad for her problems. Dad, you hit me. I
she's
didn't know you were my daughter.
Yeah, but she's interesting, man. Like you never know which way she's going to turn. Is she going to be a villain? Is she going to be a hero? I like that. I like the fact that she could just go off and she's so powerful that no one can stop her.
Yeah.
Well, well, you could stop her. Just
we
I don't know how to stop.
can't. Well, we can't kill her. That's not.
No, we're taking it off the table now. That's what we're doing.
We're not gonna Zack Snyder this. We're not gonna Zack Snyder it.
I'm
Wonder
doing
Woman
this
tries to
for
decapitate him.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's gonna be like, ah.
Okay. Oh, please. I'm sorry. I do not take Wonder Woman seriously as a threat.
Well, she was killed. She's
Yeah.
Yeah, but
slaughtered a lot of people in that.
after her movies, it just seems like you can just like, hey. Calm
I love the Wonder Woman. The two Wonder Woman movies are my two favorite DCEU movies.
I can't get into it. It's just like
I love it.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say bad things about Gal on my.
No,
things,
Gal
but-
Gadot. Whoa.
I didn't. You freaked out last time.
I know, and Sean had to get booted out of. The
She's a warrior princess.
yeah, there's no democracy on my channel. It's like,
It's like,
There is-
oh, I don't
there's
know.
no
if
making
Gal-
fun of Bruce
She's a
Campbell.
soldier too.
Yeah. Let me tell you the off the tables. Van Damme. We do not make fun of Van Damme on this channel. This is the Creed, the J-Man Creed. We do not make fun of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Double Impact is Jean-Claude Van Damme's best movie.
I have the poster of it.
Yeah.
Basically, like Alex is like I base my entire life off Alex.
Oh my god.
When Van Damme and Hard Target got an earring, I was like, I'm getting an earring, and that's literally why I have an earring. I have two now, but whatever. That's why I got the first one.
No.
So Van Damme, we do not make fun of. We do not make fun of Dolph Lundgren just because we're scared that he might
Too
find
easy.
us.
You're right. Too easy.
Because he's He-Man and Punisher.
Dolph Lundgren may actually kill us.
Yeah, so, yeah.
He lived in Toronto for a while, so I don't know if
Yeah.
he's still here.
He can kill you by looking at you. Like if he looks at you a certain way, you just automatically die.
I didn't know he was the Covenant.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's part of it.
Okay. All right. 3.
All right, so I mean, I've okay, guys, we don't make fun of Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman. We can make fun of her for other things, but not for one. Well, no. Screw it. We're just not gonna make fun of
Furious.
her.
Can we make fun of her for that?
For which one?
Which one?
Fast and the Furious. Those two that she was in.
No.
Nah.
She got
Hey,
killed, man.
All I'll say is she needed the money.
Exactly. Those movies are like, well, nah, whatever.
No,
they're silly.
1 to 5 is fine. Like 1 to 3 is 1 to 2 is fine. 3 is okay. 4 is and 5 is good. And 6, 7, 8 just
No, I think 3 is my favorite.
I'm
Oh,
up
you
to
mean the one that
5. I
time
haven't
jump?
seen the other one.
you're
What?
up to 5.
Yeah, I'm up to 5. I haven't seen the other ones.
I gave
I
it to
have
you,
all
right,
of them
Sean?
except for 8 and Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I gave them to you, didn't I?
Yeah, that's why I have them.
I gave them. So I watched them all. I'm like, well, these are not great. So I gave them to Sean, and now he can watch them and be not great. Look, the first few are okay. I like 3 a lot because I'm a Japan like nerd, so I love Japan. So if it, like setting it in Japan automatically made me like it. And Lil Bow Wow, his car is incredible. Have you seen the movie? His car is Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah. It has the yeah.
And Sonny Shiba's the villain, no? Or not the villain, but he's the father.
Yeah,
is he not in that movie?
Yeah,
I thought he was.
Yeah, he's in it.
He might,
You're right.
yeah,
He's in it.
The Street Fighter, yeah.
Yeah, Sonny Shiba.
Yeah, Sonny Shiba.
So he's in there. So that's awesome for me. And then the 4th one's like the 5th one's really cool actually.
Yeah,
it's really cool. The 5th one's actually pretty cool. So they're not bad overall.
I like the second one a lot.
Yeah,
it's in Miami, which is cool. Yeah. I like Tyrese in that one.
Yeah, he's all right.
Really like when he calls out one guy Fonzie.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, okay.
J-Man, how many Jean-Claude Van Damme movies are there? 2 of them. There's Double Impact, but there's 2 other ones, no?
Yeah, there's lots.
Okay.
The 2 Van Damme. Okay, Double Impact was the first.
Yeah.
Once they discovered that 2 Van Dammes is literally double as good as having 1 Van Damme, they should have just continued that for the rest of it. But, now, there's 2 Van Dammes in Maximum Risk.
Yeah.
Though you don't see them together. That's because one's dead.
Okay.
There's 2 Van Dammes in Replicant. One's the villain and one's the Replicant has 2 Van Dammes. Now, hold on. This if maybe I can bring I'm gonna try to go mobile with my mobile. Okay, are you ready for this? Is all Van Damme movies. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this.
Oh yeah, you have them all grouped in a row.
He's his own.
Okay, so this entire thing, I'll see if you can see with my hand. Starting from here to here is all Van Damme.
Jeez.
That is just Van Damme only.
It shows he was working a lot in the 80s.
No, he's still going. These are brand new. He does a movie a year.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, it's like Seagal does like a movie.
Oh boy.
Seagal.
Hey, Nick Cage finished like 4 yesterday.
Yeah,
I know.
Like,
he did that not Banana Splits. What's that other one he did? He just did.
Oh, that it's like Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the wrong.
All these Five Nights at Freddy's clones are coming out before the actual Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
I know. Did you guys watch that documentary on the Rockefeller? Whatever the ones from the pizza place. What are they called? No. Oh my God, Sean, you must know this.
Pizzaville or no?
No, not before.
Showbiz.
Is
the that
Rockefeller? Yeah, Rockefeller Explosion or something, or something explode. Dude, that's a great documentary. You should watch that. It's like these guys who have literally. Well, Gray Malcolm, this was more of a thing in the States. Do you remember Showbiz Pizza, or you might be too young?
No, Showbiz.
Showbiz, it's like Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Do you have a Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah. I'm familiar.
Okay. So Chuck E. Cheese took over Showbiz, and they have like the Chuck E. Cheese band, but these guys had these animatronic guys called the Rockefeller. Sean, you can look it up. Rockefeller Explosion or Rockefeller. Do Showbiz Rockafire or something. And
are you guys
there's a documentary on these guys that have trying to collect. They're trying to collect all of the animatronics, and this guy has literally recreated the entire damn thing. He has every component, and they work and they sing songs, and you program them.
That's creepy as shit.
It's crazy.
Weird.
He restored an old robot.
It's awesome. But there's a lot of them. There's like 7 or 8 characters.
Yeesh.
Rockafire Explosion. But Chuck E. Cheese had a band too.
Yeah,
it was like him and a bunch of guys.
Yeah, and there's a big thing with the guy who made Showbiz Pete. Like, he was really upset because they pressured him into. They're basically saying your character is going to be dead unless you go with this, and then they changed them all anyways. It's a pretty good little documentary I watched. I just watched that like a week ago.
Has anyone here played Five Nights at Freddy's?
No.
I tried, but it sucks. But
It sucks. Yeah, it's just yeah.
video games
But-
is something else to me. It's like
Yeah,
that's like it's. I died, but I was like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? And it's not scary. I guess if you're a kid, it's scary.
yeah,
But
I've seen
bullshit.
videos of people freaking out playing it. I played it
Yeah.
too.
yeah, what are they freaking out at?
The problem is that all you really do is check the cameras and shut doors. And I'm
Right,
like,
you're not doing anything.
yeah, it's not a very fun game experience, I guess you could say.
There's no
Yeah.
there's no value to it. It's not like Alien Isolation, which is like
Oh,
you're like you're
God.
walking around, you're like, oh, this is crazy. There's an
Yeah.
alien, you know.
Or what was
Um,
that game you brought to my place once? It was one where you were going
Yes,
in.
I remember. Yeah, that was great.
That thing
Oh.
was crazy.
Yeah, what the hell was that called? You're like in a house and it's like you're slowly going insane, so you start to visualize things that aren't there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sanity's
remember-
Edge or something like that.
Oh, that was awesome. I know they don't make good shit like
I
that
mean,
anymore. That's
I remember you walked into I think it was a bathroom and there was a like they did a jump thing with the body in the tub.
Yeah,
and
but it's not really
both
there.
Jumped I think I almost kneed myself in the head.
yeah,
I
it's like you thought it looked like there's something there, but it's just you going insane or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a cool game. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. But we're all gonna be back. I assume at least
Yeah.
Sean, Steve, and I for sure we're gonna be back this Sunday. We're gonna talk Godzilla talk big time. We're gonna friggin' go through that big time. We can hit up Invincible because Steve will be caught up by then, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So there's gonna be those are gonna be the three big topics. I'm gonna be here tomorrow night live, 6:30. I have the author of Tarzan on film going to be talking. Yeah, he reached out to me. We're going to be talking about Tarzan because I've expanded my X fans thing to include anything. So I've changed it to Amazing Fans. So it's going to be J-Man and the Amazing Fans. Where did I get that title from? But anyway,
Right.
but yeah, so we're gonna do Tarzan stuff. So this guy's like really into Tarzan. He wrote the book on Tarzan in film. So he's gonna be my only guest. So I don't know how long it's gonna go. It's gonna be pretty cool just to chat with him and get his take on all the Tarzan stuff. Because I love Tarzan and I like Legend of Tarzan. I don't know if we never really discussed it, but I liked it. So I'm a Tarzan guy. So yeah, that's gonna be tomorrow. That's tomorrow night at 6:30 Eastern, and then Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, even 7. I may change the time to 7 because I think that I don't know if 7 works better for everybody. It might work better for everybody. So we'll see how it goes, right? But yeah. All right. So everyone's links and everything are in the description and all that. So we'll go from there. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
All right.